Good morning. Can everybody hear and see me? Or has Milton succeeded in knocking me offline? My little monster figured out a way to knock me offline even faster. If you've seen my videos, you probably noticed that I put up a power strip and I put it along the window and the switch sits vertically. Well, he was over there attacking something at the Venetian blind. I don't know what he was doing. And when he put his foot down, he turned off the power strip. Now, the switch is only that big. The thing's like 4 feet long. How in the world does that cat always find the easiest way to knock me offline? If he touches a keyboard, he can send me into something I can't even imagine how to get out of. It really is amazing what a cat can do. But anyway, I also had another technical issue. As you know, I have this rather old controller that I use to control the lights in my house. And normally, because this place is old and dark and dingy, when I get up in the morning, the first thing that I do, I push the button, which is actually number two. I'll turn it on, and that turns on the lights in the living room. Well, for the last week, every morning I get up and it doesn't work. I'm thinking, what in the world could be wrong with this thing? It works fine at night when I'm asleep. I look at the doorway and I have the light on and I turn it off before I go to sleep. Well, it turns out that plugging the power strip into my room to run the computer, it seems to have created some kind of capacitance or inductance or something like that. And the switch will no longer work. So I had to learn. I've been doing this every day. It's very frustrating. So what I did, I said, you know what? I was on the computer checking to see if I had any emails. I said, let me turn off the power strip, turn off the computer, turn off the power strip. And then I pushed the control buttons, and guess what? The lights all worked. So I guess when you're an electrical engineer, you run into all these really weird things. So anyway, let's see who we have. We have 12 people. It looks like so far, and that's really good. And we have, let's see, we have Josephine C. was the first one. Hello. Howdy, beautiful quackers. Howdy yourself. Lori's Carnivore Story. Good, beautiful morning, Rick and chat friends. Yes, it is. It's always nice when I have my chat friends here. And let's see. Okay, we've got some conversation here. And then Josephine and Lori were talking. And then here I am. Good morning from Miami. See you in a minute. And let's see. Oh, we have Juliet's Autistic Experience. Good morning. Just making breakfast with the kids. Excellent. Lamb burgers. And cheesy omelets. Have you had breakfast yet? Yes, I did. I had ground beef and 2 eggs. Um, I miss having 6 eggs, but it's gotten to the point where I can barely even find eggs anymore. Now I'm working on the egg problem on my end. I have attracted the ducks back to the yard, and I saw one of the mamas digging a nest. So hopefully soon they'll start laying. But the bad thing is, because the duck population was decimated by the stupid raccoons, I'm not going to be able to really eat any eggs. So they're going to have to sit on the eggs for the month or more that it takes to hatch them. And I'm just going to have to be vigilant about eliminating any of the trash pandas before they can destroy my duck population. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, sounds yummy. Yeah. Question: what time do you typically get up? I typically wake up anywhere between 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning. Most of the time, I'm up somewhere before 7, but I force myself to stay in bed because I try to get 8 hours. I go to bed at 11:30 at night, and I generally don't leave the bed until maybe, well, it's hard for me to stay till 7:30. It's a bit of a struggle. Usually it's going to be around 7 to 7:15 that I get up. And then the first thing I do when I get up, I go to the kitchen and I start to make breakfast. And then I go outside and I look around. I watch the sun rise. That's kind of important to me. The more time that I spend outside, the better I feel. So that's my general routine. Kitchen Witch, 1985. I am awake. Good morning, Rick. And what are we called here? Quackers? I don't know. That's a good question. I know every group has its own little thing. Um, I've been called everything from a quack to a caveman to I don't know what else. Hard to say. But you know what I call you? I call you my chat friends. And hopefully, in real life, we'll be real friends one of these days when I'm mobile and able to go and do things. Okay. I cannot find the proper beef. And I still have got used to haven't gotten used to eating beef. And PL07. Haven't got used to eating beef. Well, I think one of the things you'll have to do is ease into it. And for a lot of people, I think that having some type of background, you may be one of those people that likes fruits and vegetables. And again, unlike a lot of the prominent carnivores, I'm not going to tell you that plants are trying to kill you because they really aren't. Plants can't think and they can't strategize about killing you. But the thing is, we humans have been able to eat plants for a very long time. I mean, you can see if you read older books, like, for example, I mean, I'm not saying you have to be faithful or anything, but if you do read the Bible, it does talk a lot about people eating fruit and meat. So there's nothing wrong with eating these foods if they don't hurt you. But if you really want to be a carnivore, you have to understand, why do you want to be a carnivore? Are you doing it because you're like me and you want to get a heart attack? Or maybe you're doing it because you have health issues, you have digestive problems, which seems to be really common nowadays. If that's the case, you might have to keep eating some of that plant material, the stuff that doesn't disagree with you. And if you don't like beef, try other meats. Yeah, there's chicken, there's pork, there's fish, there's a lot of different meats that you can eat. I don't know of any meat that's really toxic to any humans. I know people that are sensitive to chicken and pork, and it's probably because of what they're fed in the store. I'm sure if they ate parking lot chicken, they wouldn't have a problem. But, you know, there are compromises you have to make. So what can you do? Okay. Hi, Josephine. Good morning. Good morning to Polish Mike. Glad to have you here. I like having the hardcore carnivores on the chat team. He does say that. Yeah. Hey, Rick and everyone. Hey, Dan and Boz. The Feral Grandma. Good morning. Good morning from Rick. Where's Carnivore story? Lurch. You rang. Anna PL07. I must eat. Probably scrambled eggs. It's 2:30 p.m. and I'm hungry. If you're hungry, it's a good idea to do that. And Polish Mike says, I call you normal because you are a natural human in every respect. Well, thank you. And I think you are too. I mean, you're the guy that's one of the very few of us that's trying to put on mass, and you also sleep on the floor and you try to get some of these other health hacks, which I've been thinking about more lately. I'm beginning to wonder if my life is actually not just the carnivore diet, but also the lifestyle that I choose, which is a mix of modern and primitive living, which really seems to work for me. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit today after the work that I've done during the week. Okay, got some people saying hello. Anna PL07, we used to eat pork patties, fried in egg. Hey, that doesn't sound too bad, honestly. And William McCartney is here. Hello. I see you made it. That's good. Josephine C. Okay. We're up to 24 people now. That is fantastic. You know, I'm very glad that you take your time out early in the morning. You could be doing a lot of other things, but you spend your time listening to a quack like me. That's really good. Okay. Sandy Blythe, okay, is here. Helen Wheels. Hi, Rick. Well, hello. Hello from Rick. Let's see. What a great voice. Well, thank you very much. I've heard that many times in my life. In fact, when I had my first business, I was the one that did all the narration. I did the phone system. I used to do the training videos and everything. And I had a lot of people tell me that I sounded like somebody on the radio, should have been a DJ or something like that. I said, yeah, that's probably true, but I was never given the opportunity. So I did what I could. All right. Yeah. Jolie's autistic experience. Vegetables, F my whatever up, unless they are very cooked. Yes, I'd rather just stick to meat. And this is a very important point. I know several people that have been destroyed by vegetables. Vegetables can be very toxic to the digestive system. One of the worst diets that I've ever seen in my life is a so-called raw vegan diet. Now, I believe if you're going to eat vegetables, you have to adapt to them. This is the reason why we humans learn cooking. Cooking food is not a bad thing, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people that say, well, you destroy the food, you're ruining it, you're killing it. Like, I don't think you want to eat something that's actually alive because it may eat you from the inside out. And plant toxins, a lot of them can be moderated or destroyed with cooking, although a lot of them don't go away. So you really have to be careful. And it's like I tell everyone that I know, if you went into the woods and you wanted to find something to eat, you wouldn't just grab any plant and eat it. You could pretty much eat any animal product if you had to. The biggest danger of animal products would be contamination from bacteria or, of course, parasites. But if there were no parasites and there was no pathogenic bacteria, you could eat any meat from any animal and you would do quite well. Eat the wrong plant or fungi, and you're not going to be around long. You're going to be dead, basically. Okay, let's see. We got a bunch of other people coming in. Wow, we're up to 21. Okay. How's the weather? Hot and humid as always. And let's see. Okay. Good morning from out in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. Well, you're lucky, Aaron. You're lucky to be there instead of being in a city like here. I got a notification, no network, and I'm out walking the dog. Okay. I will forever eat meat. I find bringing back veg gross. Jonathan's here. Carnivore Muscle. Great to have you here. Terry, good morning. Good morning. And let's see. Ruby Goats. All right. Bruce Kuhn is here. Yes. Kitchen Witch is chatting. Rick, how long, and this is from Anna, in your opinion, does it take for a person to see real results in carnivore? I mean, weight loss, healing skin, setting hormones at a balance. From what I've seen from other people, it can be anywhere from a month to 6 or 7 months. My vegan friend is the one that had the most difficulty, but I think his body was so full of plant toxins, it took time to get over it. And that is a thing. Okay, let's see. You sure? I'm not sure. Okay, here. Jonathan has a question. I appreciate you have to continue working, but what markers or thoughts would have to go through your head to take the day off? Sickness. um, yeah, if I'm sick, if I feel like I'm getting worse, I will take the day off. I'll tell people, a lot of times that I work in different locations, if I do have the flu, I'm going to sound pretty terrible or I'll look sick because when I do get sick, it's pretty obvious. Got runny nose, red eyes, all this other stuff. People understand and they'll say, okay, you just come back when you feel better. I don't work for an actual company or an individual boss, so there's no one to pressure me to work. If I don't work, I don't get paid, and I'll take time off whenever I have to. And if somebody really wants to, get something done, I can recommend somebody else to do it. But my customers tend to be loyal and they appreciate the quality of work and the way that I do the job. So unless it's an emergency, maybe they have an angry tenant or they have the county on their back, they will wait. And I try to keep everyone ahead of the game. The people that I do maintenance for and repairs, I never let it get to the point where it becomes a county issue where they have code enforcement circling around trying to punish them. So I keep ahead of them. It's very rare that I have to take time off for being sick, but it has happened. It's been several years, I think. Okay, so we have a lot of hellos. And let's see. And you're going to ask me. Okay, so we'll skip over the comments. Sandy Blythe does say, I never liked most vegetables. I was a meat and potato girl. No potatoes now. That's good. I think it's why carnivore was too difficult for me. 3 months on February 10. Well, 3 months is progress. But, if you have to go back, like in other words, like my friend that was ex-vegan, he was carnivore for about 6 months and just getting worse and worse and having diarrhea and getting sick all the time. And I told him, add some of those vegetables you like back in because he was craving broccoli and he was craving onions. Thinking, who in the world would crave onions? Ugh, broccoli? That's nasty. But I came up with a solution. We put onions and broccoli back into the ground beef stew. And then within a week, he felt much better. So, I know people that they like salad. And I tell them, if you want to eat that salad, go ahead and eat it. It's not good for you. But just don't try it without the salad dressing and make some changes. And it seems to work. Now, the problem I have is that these people that I know, everyone tends to be a bit private because they have militant friends, especially the vegans. They don't want to go out there and tell everybody how much better they feel on a carnivore or meat-based keto diet. And I have another friend that is diabetic, and I am easing him into the world of keto, and I can see improvement. He's still eating the fruits and vegetables, but not like he was. The tropical fruit is out. Yeah, he's still eating some, citrus fruits, which is okay. I mean, I'll eat oranges from time to time. I don't think that they are dangerous in any way if you pick them from your own yard. And, but yeah, and he loves avocados. And I said, you know what? If you're going to eat avocados and you're picking them from the tree out in your own yard, that's not a bad thing. And I give him avocados as well. So that's a good thing. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Um, can you tell us a funny story about a repair or job you did? Oh, I could tell you a lot of funny stories. I mean, I could tell you stories about, the nursery over there where they have pretty much all, Mexicans and Guatemalans that don't really know a whole lot. I've had crazy things everything from them turning the bobcat over to driving into the canal. I've had networks that I worked on where somebody had a computer issue, and then it turns out the funniest one I think was the server that it had a problem, and they said the mouse wasn't working. And every time they were trying to use the mouse with the server, well, what happened was this was years ago. It had a PS2 port, and a rodent had chewed through the wire that goes to the motherboard. So when I pulled the cover off the server, I found a mouse skeleton, a dead mouse in there. I said, and I picked it out with the, spoon or whatever it was. I said, "Here's your problem. This is your old mouse. The new mouse isn't working because the old mouse died." So I've had some pretty crazy. I've had some crazy things. I'll have to make a video on that. I have some crazy experiences. Okay, let's see. Morning, Lori. Anna PL07. Rick, how will you explain that I healed my psoriasis before when I was doing grape diet for about 6 weeks? I had this condition for over 2 decades. Well, I know people that have healed skin conditions using plant medicine. In fact, a friend of ours had, what's that dry skin thing you have where you itch and then you get like those flakes that comes off? I don't know if it's called eczema or whatever it is, but she had this for years. And somebody came up with this ridiculous idea. So what I was going to do is, um, so well, I forget what the magazine was, some kind of magazine. They said that coconut would take care of that. So, and I have coconut trees all over the place. So I was collecting coconuts for her, and she was basically using the coconut to rub on her skin, and it was helping a little bit. But then she thought, well, what if I ate the coconut? Would eating the coconut do the job? And the funny thing was, I said, well, she didn't really like coconut, but she started eating the coconut and putting the coconut on her skin. And believe it or not, that dry skin condition, within about 3 or 4 months, it went away. And she'd had this since she was a kid. Redheaded girl that always had skin problems. So it is kind of interesting that a coconut, which is a seed from a plant, was able to cure her. So I don't doubt that that is possible. And I know somebody else that he had a lot of digestive issues, and he cured that with basically kimchi and sauerkraut, and that got rid of that. And again, that's not really just plant material. I mean, there's bacteria involved, but I'm not saying, what is it? I'm trying to think of another condition. Well, I had another friend of mine that had serious sinus issues, and he was actually able to cure that using mint, using crushed mint and breathing that in, and it seemed to get rid of the problem. So, and I have sinus issues as well. I was born with that. That was one of the things between getting ear infections and sinus issues. That was something I had. And my dad used to put garlic oil in my ear, and that would reduce the infection. So I'm not saying that the plants and all that are deadly, but I think chronic use of plants just wears you down. Eating too many of the wrong plants, in my opinion, is a bad thing. But that's just my opinion. Okay, let's see. Um, the Quacker chat beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you. I haven't craved veggies. I haven't either. I can't imagine craving veggies. That would be like craving food that's in the garbage can. Kitchen Witch 1985. Cheese is my problem. I love my drug. Oh, I love cheese as well. I eat about 4 ounces of cheese a day, in addition to the yogurt that I make. So I am definitely sort of a dairy kind of guy. Now, I know for some people, dairy is a disaster. Dairy can be scary because dairy puts on weight, and some people are sensitive to it. And who knows what they're feeding the cows nowadays. So I'm not sure. Anyway, let's see. hmm. Bruce Kuhn. One of these days, Rick, I'll have to school you on how to pronounce my last name. It's one of those German names that have sounds that don't translate to English very well. I believe it. That's the problem. English language isn't that descriptive. Jonathan says, I got so confused recently when setting up my projector. I had the text vertical and flipped. I thought it was a different language. What silly company manufactures things in a way which can be made to not be legible? Oh, tell me about it. It's like some of the fine print that some of these companies have. And then when they print it, the printer is such a poor resolution that you can barely read what they said. It looks like a copy of a copy. It's like in the old days when we had the Xerox machine and you take a copy of a copy and it becomes completely illegible. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hey, Fiat. Well, my Mopars existed long before Fix It Again Tony or Fix It Again Today ever owned the company. It was, in fact, even before the Iacocca mobiles came out. I think that after the 1980s, with the introduction of the K car, the Chrysler Corporation went. Now, I guess when the Germans owned it, the Mercedes, Daimler, whatever it was, they were the ones that kind of brought back the whole muscle car thing. So I give them credit for that. But Fiat was such a garbage company, they had to rename themselves so people couldn't make them fun anymore. And they came up with an even stupider name called Stellantis, which I don't know what that means. That sounds like something you put on your leg when you break it. So, all right, let's see. Okay. Mice, rats, squirrels keep we who work in electronics gainfully employed. Yes, they do. When they talk about a bug in the system, they weren't kidding. Okay, Anna. Johnson says you depleted the seed oils and upregulated your mitochondria. The psoriasis would return as soon as your background settings pop back up unless you make a permanent change. That's a good point. Now, again, this is why we have people like Jonathan that are here, because they have the experience. That's kind of his work. He's counseling people, giving advice, has a lot of educational background. So he knows a lot more about that stuff than I ever would. I'm the guy you call when, your 69 Charger won't start, or you got a leak in your roof, or you got some electrical or plumbing issue, or air conditioning, or any of that other stuff. Okay. Okay, and then Jonathan says, my skin drastically improved after 6 months. I highly, highly recommend sourcing some basic. Oh boy. I forgot to disconnect the phone again. Let me take care of that. That was not hard to do. All you got to do is unplug and you're good to go. Anyway, that was a normal distraction. Later on, I'll open up the door for an even more distracting distraction. A fuzzy, black, teeth and claw equipped monster that will knock me offline. So that's what I'll do. Towards the end of the chat, I'll open the door. If the monster wants to come in, then it's only a matter of time before he knocks me offline. It'll be like the channels where they play the music at the end, and when the music ends, the live stream stops. Okay, So let's see what else we got here. Hi, Rick and everyone. Okay. He walks with me. Hello, Steph. Okay. Hi, Rick and everyone. I definitely put in weight with dairy, but love it. Dairy is not bad. Okay. Jonathan Muscle, I've watched some of your videos with Barkay. What time is it where you are? Okay, that's conversation. Um, and Anna says, after the adventures with raw D and fruitarianism, ugh, I came back to junk food. Oh my goodness. Skin condition didn't come back, although I still get problems with skin. It's amazing that you could eat junk food and not be sick all the time. And Thomas is here, Target Prime Rib. Hi, everyone. Hello from Miami. Let's see. That's probably what's going on. The dairy. Good morning. Thomas finally showed up. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I didn't scare him away. So let's see. Okay. So we have some information going back and forth here. And Bruce says, my apologies to anyone I haven't said hi to. Driving around running errands. So posting only when not driving. Well, that's good. You don't have to post anything. You can simply listen to me. And I think I do that a lot. Like, for example, a lot of times I will tune into the live with old guy Carnivore, and I will listen. I will say hello, and then I'll do my work. And then every so often, when I get a break, I'll stop. And that's pretty much what I do. So I try to keep up with as many of these chats as I can, especially when I'm doing work that doesn't really involve a lot. Now, I've had people ask me, how can you work at the same time and that you're listening to this? And it's actually pretty good. I have an old laptop that I'll set up somewhere where I have Wi-Fi. And if I don't have access to the Wi-Fi, well, that's why they invented Kali Linux. So I will eventually find Wi-Fi that I can connect to. And once I connect to that, my computer runs Linux, and I will open up YouTube, and then I'll find the videos that I want. And then I use a wireless FM transmitter that's plugged into the speaker output of the laptop. So no one's going to hear anything in the laptop. And here's what I use. Where did that go? Okay, that's not good. Oh, here it is. All right. So, let's see on this crazy thing. This is how I listen to it. I have this little inexpensive FM radio, and then I have the little earpiece that's plugged into it. Now, anyone that knows me knows that I really don't like wireless devices, so I use these little wired things, and you put them in your ear, and I can listen to it. I'll usually only put one in the ear, so that way I have the other one available to listen to other people. And then when I hear something or something interesting, I'll run over to the computer and then I will type it in. So I'll have to open up the laptop, type it in. I type it in a few times, and then I go back to the computer. I generally don't listen to music when I'm working because I like to be aware. It's like when I'm riding my bike, I never listen to anything. Sometimes what I will do, I will download something into my old phone, and then I will put it in my pocket, and I put it where the bottom of the phone sticks up so the speaker is easy to hear. But I never use any kind of headphones or any kind of earpieces when I'm on the bike because I want to be completely aware of my surroundings so I can hear when there's a car coming or if somebody's getting ready to have a shootout or whatever they're going to do. I always like to be fully aware of my surroundings. I also want to be able to hear the rustling noises when the iguanas are coming out of the canal. So we don't do that. But yeah, when I'm working now, if somebody else is playing garbage music, then I will use this device. And again, this is an FM radio, but my computer, I always keep an FM transmitter. Now I have several FM transmitters. In fact, I have one that I even keep in my truck, which I can use to overwhelm some of the really annoying music. And I have that here somewhere. I thought I did. Where is that thing? Oh well. think. I guess it's still in my truck. I thought I had brought it in. But I have one of those FM transmitters that runs on 12 volts. And again, the music that I listen to, I keep in the computer. Now, I do have a cassette player in my truck and my van. So I do have cassettes in there. And in my Charger, I have an 8-track player, but I don't really drive that anymore because it's just too rusty. It needs a complete restoration. But yeah, but normally if I'm using the computer, I use these. And I don't know if you can still get these FM radios, but at one time you could even buy an FM radio at the dollar store. That's how cheap they were. And they work really well. You know, you got your little antenna and they're kind of handy. So, and you can buy the transmitters. I'm sure you've seen the ones that you plug in your car and then you can work it with your phone. The old ones, you used to have to connect them with an audio cable, but some of them, they're Bluetooth. In fact, I was in a Walmart getting some motor oil and I saw that they actually sell a Bluetooth that you can even plug in your USB into and play directly. So it's important. Now, like I said, I generally don't listen to music unless I'm at home. But if I get around a lot of the popular music that I don't like, it actually has a bad effect on me, especially here in Miami. You have this stupid reggaeton and rap and all this other crap, and it's kind of depressing. And a lot of popular music is robotic. You know, you hear a lot of these so-called artists, they sound basically like robots. And I always joked, I said, you know, you could probably make all this music using artificial intelligence and do a better job. But I remember one time, what was it, Cher or one? It might have been Cher was the first one that had a robotic voice, and then it just kind of caught on after that. And today, most of these, like, you know, Latino whatever, they sound like robots because they use auto tune or whatever software they're normally using. If you compare the singing today to something like in the past, for example, think about like maybe Perry Como or Frank Sinatra or, you know, even Dean Martin or one of these people that used to sing back then, and compare it to the way they sing today, it sounds totally different. It's I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of today's music. And also in the past you had a lot of instrumentals. You think about classical music, that's all instrumental. There was some opera, of course, but it was mostly classical was mostly instrumental. And today nothing is instrumental because it's basically, I think it's more of a cult of personality today. That seems to be what it normally is. Most of the music is more of like, well, this person is a certain age range, a certain look. They may not be the most talented when it comes to voice or instruments or whatever, but if they have the right look, then that's good. Now, when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, that's when it really started, but there was still a lot of ugly people that used to be very talented, and you would see some of these groups. There's music from the 70s that is just amazing compared to what they have now. And you look at them, and some of them had these afros that look like a mic cover, and you have others that just look like they were homeless under the bridge, and yet the music is timeless. So, and I think that's one of the things about us humans. We can definitely appreciate music. I think, you know, animals can make interesting sounds, but only we can create instruments and make sounds with them. Okay, let me get back to the chat here. We're getting a little behind, and I see everyone's got advice. Jonathan's giving some advice. That's good. And Father of United Carnivore. Hello, Rick, and everyone from Melbourne, Florida. Well, hello. I guess you decided to be here instead of going to the high-end get-together at the doctor's house. You know, that that seems to be the thing this weekend. In fact, I'm surprised I have 34 people here because I figured everybody would probably have run over there to be with the high-end carnivore elites instead of being with the carnivore quack. Okay. I like to play loud, annoying music and clean my house. That's what Aaron says. Okay. I'm cleaning the toy room now. That's good. I sometimes play music when I'm working here around the house, but it's usually elevator music. So It's either classical or elevator music. That's what I like. Okay, Rick, question. I know you are not here for the money, fame, or glory, but I have, let's see, have you any way that we can support the channel? Will you ever off the grid, which is cool? Sure. I mean, I'm going to try to find some kind of way. Um, I know a lot of people use Patreon or they use Buy Me a Coffee or any of these things. I, Buy Me a Coffee, that's interesting. The problem is I don't drink coffee, so it would be kind of hypocritical in my mind if they had Buy Me a Steak. I'm going to have to come up with some kind of way, but I really don't want to take anybody's money. I mean, I'm not really performing. I guess technically I'm performing a service, but I'm not working directly. It's, I think, more of an entertainment value. The main reason I come here, because I would love to help people, but I don't have the money to do that. And I don't trust charities. This is the one thing I really do not. I think that all organizations are inherently corrupt. And I think that the only way you can really help people is either on an individual or a personal level. I believe this rule that you can really only know 50 people and be close friends with them. So any organization that has more than a few hundred people, in my opinion, is not something that's going to be good. And again, you might have an organization run by a person who is very, very philanthropic or philanthropic or whatever they call that. But once you get other people involved and money starts moving around, then that's when the corruption starts. And this is the one thing I'm kind of concerned about in the carnivore space. I think that some people, they are using it as a way of becoming famous. But on the good side, I think that deep down, us carnivores are actually rebels and we tend to think outside the system. So I really don't think that there's going to be any way to really monetize it to the point where it becomes corrupt. It's not going to become like the vegan space where you have the vegan charlatans out there, because us carnivores, we're not really that way. Even the most prominent carnivores. When you think about a prominent carnivore, who do you think about? Well, I'll tell you who I think about. Number one would be Dr. Anthony Chafee. Well, that's probably because he's the first one that actually contacted me. But when you think of a carnivore elite, that would be the one. And then, of course, Dr. Sean Baker, the first carnivore that I really got into watching, and one of the people that I wouldn't mind being like. I mean, he's extremely successful and strong, but again, even he had a different life. Both of them started from sort of a fitness and medicine background before they were carnivore. So I am the only one out there that has been carnivore before I ever really tried anything fitness related. So I'm not one of those people that that could say, well, I went to the carnivore diet and now I've healed everything. Well, no, I haven't. My carnivore diet is just my lifestyle. It's just something that I like doing. It's not one of those things that I'm going to promote, as a solution, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that human beings are carnivores. I don't believe that the carnivore is the proper human diet. I believe that carnivore is my proper human diet. It's Rick's diet. It's Rick's heart attack diet. That's what I believe. So if you're one of those people that's pushing the carnivore diet as a cure-all, I don't agree with you, because I think that's a mistake. See, I believe that carnivores have more in common with vegans than we do with standard dieters. You'd say, well, a standard American dieter eats meat. That's true. But a vegan is, most of the vegans that I know, they're in a quest. They're in a quest for, they're either animal rights or they're in a quest for health or a combination of things. And most of the carnivores, we're in a quest for health. And believe it or not, I think us carnivores really believe in animal rights as well, because we know that if we don't protect the animals and we don't keep them around, then we're going to have nothing to eat. So really, when you think about it, it's like people that hunt. They want to have preserves. They want to have the population under control. They make rules. They make a season where you can hunt and seasons when you can't. Because in order for them to enjoy their hunting, to be able to go out there and shoot and kill animals, there has to be animals to do that. and the animals need a place to live. And I think it's the same thing with vegans. The trick is going to be, how do you cross over these two ideologies? How do you convince vegans? And the problem is that a lot of them have been mentally damaged by all the plant material they eat. How do you convince them that they're not your enemy, that you're actually their friend? Well, you do what I do. You give them fruits and vegetables fresh from your garden. You teach them how to garden. You teach them about, microorganisms and insects and all the other things that can affect their garden. And you let them know that you're their friend. So when you bring them a basket of avocados, they're over there and they're telling you, you know what? This guy isn't so bad. And when you're the one that gets in the canal to rescue the ducklings that can't get out, you're the one that's helping the baby bird that fell out of the nest. You're the one that's helping the stray cats and doing all the things that the vegans like. It's kind of hard for them to get mad at you. They realize this is not a bad person. This is more like us than we think. Okay, we have a lot of comments. Wow, we're up to 42 people. That's fantastic. It's been about 41 minutes. We haven't had any technical issues. So it looks like as time goes on, things improve. I don't know if at the end it's going to cut me off again, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, let's see. What do we have? I think I should get out of dairy. Okay, that's true. I'm stuck in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, I'm kind of in the 50s to the 70s here. I've been stalled for months. Okay, we're talking about cheese. Yeah, cheese can be pretty dangerous. Let's see what else we have. Baron says, I love jazz. I'm trying to get my teenagers to play an avant-garde. Okay. Hey, I like jazz too. I do love it. Okay, Sandy Blythe loves jazz and blues. I do as well. Lori's Carnivore story. Prominent Rick for sure. Nah, not really. Kitchenwood says, Rick doesn't know he is famous. Shh. I know I'm famous, but as of now, no one has come up to me in person and say that they saw me on YouTube, and nobody knows I'm a carnivore. I'm out and about, but I'm still in the carnivore closet, it looks like. I seem to be drawn to those types. No clue the popularity. Hi, everyone. Hello, Annabella. Yes. The problem with most charities, some point, the mission takes a backseat to the organization. Yes. Once that happens, they lose my support. I agree. He walks with me, Steph. I agree, Rick. I don't trust charities, never have. Philanthropy is just a way for very rich people to feel better about their corruption. That is correct. And I want to make a video on that because I believe wholeheartedly that all very wealthy people are parasites because the amount they take from the system is a lot more than what they give. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Rick. All fellow carnivores. BK Belgian Carnivore. Hello. And I support animal charity when I can. This one saves. Okay. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Key. You have to be careful. Some of the charities definitely have the right motive. When they get too big, I think then they just sort of become part of the problem. Annabelle, are you really that young? Huh, interesting. Is it just me? He back. Okay. Hello, Dan. More people in public know me as Carnivore Muscle than Jonathan. Now, see, Jonathan, you're kind of hard to miss because you're pretty unique. You're large size. But then again, I'm unique too. How many people are 6'6" in Miami? It's pretty rare. I see some videos. There's this one male model guy. I think he calls himself Austin Wayne. I don't know what his real name is. And he walks around. He has somebody following with a camera to see the reaction that people get. I don't know what kind of reaction I get. I think it would be like if they were watching the Addams Family and Lurch open the front door and they run away, because people do tend to get out of my way. Okay, let's see. Good morning. Okay, Annabella. Howdy, Annabella. Sandy Blythe says, you met Russ to eat. I love Russ and his joyful personality. I think he's great. Russ is an example of what the keto and carnivore community can do. Now, if you look at him, you'd say, well, what does this fat guy have the right to talk about keto and carnivore living? But the thing is, he didn't get fat by being keto and carnivore. He's been on the keto diet to control that. And even though he's fat, he is much healthier than a lot of other people I know. And it's only a matter of time before the excess weight will decrease. But the thing is, if you're a fat but good person inside, I think you're doing a lot better than someone that has a gorgeous physique but is just evil, because that person has no value. If your internal, if your attitude and all that is predatory, it doesn't matter what you look like. You are not going to be someone I want to be around. So I'm glad I was able to meet Russ. And I think we're going to make a tradition out of that. Once a year, we're going to get together at the Brazilian steakhouse to enjoy meat. And I'm hoping one day when I'm out of here and I've moved into another place, I'm not spending all my time paying property taxes and I have a better source of income, I'm going to start having Rick's Carnivore meetup. It'll either be, at some location that I'll find, I'll try to get, even if it has to be a convention center or a restaurant or whatever, but I would rather have it at my house. And I was thinking about having sort of a carnivore workshop where we pick a steer or cow, we slaughter the cow, and then we section it up. We get the fat, we get the hide and all that, and we learn how to use the animal from nose to tail to be able to make everything from delicious steaks to pet food to leather to all these other things. Because again, even though we're carnivores, we're not against animal rights. I think that animals do have the right to live free of predators and to be healthy and to have good food, not starve, because in the wild, animals don't get that benefit. If there's a drought and they run out of food to eat, they will become skinny. And if things don't improve, they will die. But if we're raising animals and we get a drought, we're going to pump water from the ground, we're going to irrigate, we're going to provide them with hay, tropical fruit, or whatever it takes to get them fat and happy. And then one day, there's going to be one bad day for that animal, and it's going to be lights out. And then later on that day, you're going to smell the delicious smoke of a grill cooking steaks. And there's going to be months of tasty roasts and all the other things. Because if you butcher your own animal, you're not going to really waste anything. You're going to do everything from cooking bones to, getting collagen from hooves or whatever. So the entire animal is going to end up in the cooler, and everything is going to be used, everything from liver, stomach, kidneys, whatever. And if we don't eat it, the pets will eat it. So instead of an animal being eaten by a predator or simply dying and rotting, it'll be taken down before it gets too old or sick. And the life that it has is going to be a very good one. Because again, sometimes cattle, they have problems with their hooves that need to be taken care of. They may have parasites that need to be taken care of. They can live like that, but I think that they live better when they're being taken care of. And then one day, it's out and that's it. So again, that's what I'd like to do. Okay, let's see. We got a lot of comments. Look at that. We got 48 people. We're doing fantastic. All right. Let's see. Rick, will you show us your yard once again someday? Sure, I'll be glad to. I'm diamond painting. I haven't had a chance to do any for a few days. Okay, I never heard of diamond painting. I remember your first name, but wasn't sure how to spell it. Okay. I would say I'm taller than 95% of people in my area. Rick would turn heads. Rick, you've been watching Gotus. Yeah, I've seen him too, or Swearage, or whatever they call him. He's a strange character. He seems a little bit of a shady character to me. The most generic and normal way. Okay. Art is beautiful for the heart. Okay. Are you cool with John for short? Okay, got some stuff going on here. I'm just going to toss all these toys. The kids have more fun with sticks and rocks. Sounds like a cat. Polish Mike says, I don't participate in fundraising. I don't donate money, but I donate blood regularly, which I think is more valuable. And it's a carnivore blood. Interesting. I didn't feel I could go to Queensland meetup because I'm still overweight. I know that's silly of me. I don't have the dollars. Well, let's put it this way. If you don't have the money to go there, don't go there. Spend the money on yourself. Eat good food. And if you're overweight, don't worry about it. I don't think the way I feel is like this. If you're overweight and you're not gaining weight, you're winning. In fact, I don't even like to use the term weight because I'm a person that would love to gain weight. I would love to gain muscle mass. We're talking about fat. You could be the same weight and you could be losing fat, and but your measurements are changing. So I think it's not really important. If you're big and fat and you're getting leaner, you didn't get fat overnight. You didn't get fat in a few days or a few years. It may have taken decades. If it takes decades to reverse it, that's good. Plus, losing weight too fast could mean that you end up with saggy skin. You're going to be like the people that have this turkey neck and their arm hangs down. You don't want that. So, slow and steady, I think, is the way to go. That's a great way to reverse the damage. All right. I have a great voice, but only to dogs. Thomas is funny. No, my name is only Jonathan. My late granddad's dead. John, I don't accept it. Okay. Got great news. I quit smoking last year in January. Good. Gained 22 kilograms, but now I lost already 10 kilograms. Finally, my body adapted to smoking free life. Well, there you go. See, some people, they make the excuse that they're going to gain weight when they stop smoking. I said, yeah, well, you're going to lose weight when you're dead and you're decomposing. So getting rid of the cigarettes is a great thing. Now, some people, they can smoke a little bit, it doesn't bother them. But I think for most people, getting away from those horrible, addictive, nicotine filled paper tubes full of toxic plants is probably the best thing they could do. Okay, way to go, B. Excellent. Um, okay. I hate it when this thing jumps around. Okay, Thomas. Jonathan has a question. Any more suggestions for increasing food? I'm up to around 360 gram protein, 30 grams carbs, 250 grams fat. By meal 2 out of 4, I'm barely hungry. Well, Jonathan, let me tell you my experience. I never get hungry, ever. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm never hungry. What happens to me if I don't eat? I start to get a loss of energy. Let's say that if I have to skip breakfast, which doesn't happen very often, but sometimes it does when I have to run to work. I just start to feel kind of, I don't know. It's like an engine that's running on junk gas. It just doesn't have the power that it normally does. And, but again, I don't get hungry. I could go the whole day without eating. But as soon as I see meat, and this is how I test myself, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do, I open the refrigerator door. And when I see the meat sitting in the refrigerator, and I see the eggs, and I see all those things, then I have to eat. So as soon as I see food that I like, I get hungry. But if I drive by a fast food place or any of these other restaurants, I don't have an appetite. I just don't see it. It's like when I go with the guys over to the Chick-fil-A or to the Popeyes or any of the other crappy places they like to go to, or La Carreta. That doesn't appeal to me. Or Pollo Tropical, where you have that stupid beans and all that crap. It doesn't appeal to me. It's only like if I was to go into the Winn-Dixie or Fresco y Mas butcher shop and I see the meat sitting in there, then I start thinking about it. Or sometimes if I'm over by the canal and I see a big fatty iguana or a nice duck wagging its tail, then I start getting hungry. And that's the way it works with me. So, but if you want to eat more, I think the most important thing is not to think too much about it. I don't know. I know have people tell me about meat aversion. I'm not sure what that is, but if maybe you're tired of eating beef, you might want to think about chicken or fish or something like that. I guess it's different for somebody who's come from a background of eating processed foods or eating a variety of foods other than meat. You may crave this stuff. I know people, when they go by the Pinecrest Bakery, they get really hungry. When I look in the Pinecrest Bakery, my stomach feels like it's going to turn over. In fact, when I go to Fresco y Mas, I'll have to show you that in a video. There's a place next to there called Ricky Bakery. And they have like a cartoon character that's sort of it's on their sign. It's like a guy that's in good shape that is baking. And I'm thinking to myself, nobody that looks like that would go into Ricky Bakery. And it's really funny because they call it Ricky. If it was a real Ricky's restaurant, it would be, Ricky's Barbecue. And you'd have smoke coming out of the back, and you'd have everything from beef to chicken, duck, iguana. You'd have heart attack chicken cooking and heart attack fish, and the place would it would be like some 1950s barbecue place with giant neon signs, neon flames around the side, and smoke coming out. And you'd see a bunch of crazy tall 6'6" guys lined up around the corner going to that place. But yeah, for me, that's what I do. I don't really think about it. I just keep eating. And the thing is that I have no self-control when it comes to meat. I will eat until I can't swallow anymore. And then it becomes painful because when I get to that last bite and I realize that if I swallow it, I'm going to not be able to breathe, then I have to kind of calm down and I have to put the meat down. And sometimes I'll be sitting there. I mean, I ate 4 pounds of steak one time as a challenge, and I was going to hit another steak. And that first swallow, I was like, oh, it's backed up to the point where I can't swallow anymore. So what I have to do, I have to not eat for an hour. Now, sometimes I can get lucky and I can kind of regurgitate some of it up to get it out of the esophagus so the stomach will close up. But if I can't do that, I have to just work and do normal things. And I can't eat or drink anything for up to an hour until the food starts to go down. So I learned my lesson. 4 pounds is a limit. Once I get to 4 pounds of meat, stop. Because if I don't stop, I'm going to suffer. And I had one time where I ate so much I couldn't breathe and I almost choked and I had to like throw up and it came out of my nose and mouth. It was terrible. And that was just me being out of control. It's very hard for me to control the amount of meat that I eat. So I'm a little different than the average person. Most people are not able to eat excessive amounts of meat. Most people I know, they eat 16 ounces of steak and they're done. And that's it. But for me, that's just the beginning. And Russ, that I went to the Brazilian steakhouse with, you could ask him if you ever check us out every 2 weeks. I'm on the Keto Cookout. Actually, the Keto Cookout is every week. And if you want to participate, if you want to get on there and you want to be, have your face on video, you can join us at any time. We're good people. We're friendly people. We have fun. That's the whole thing. But I'm just being honest with you. There is no way in the world that I can control myself when it comes to meat. So I learned my lesson. So I can kind of identify with the carboholics out there that eat a bunch of carbohydrates, because in my case, carbohydrates are boring to me. For example, if I went out there and got a bunch of bananas, I could eat maybe 2 finger bananas before I feel nauseous. If I turn green bananas into heart attack fries, I can eat up to 4 green bananas. And after that, I have no desire to eat another fried banana. And just looking at them makes me feel sick. It's like Dr. Chafee says, eat until the meat stops tasting good. Well, that's the way it is with fruit and carbohydrates. I can only eat so much before it stops tasting good and it's repulsive. But when it comes to meat, I have no limit. I just can't stop. But again, when you're a carnivore, you know what is going to happen. You eat too much meat, you fill your stomach, and you're going to throw up. So the thing to do is stop. So my comfortable meat meal is 2 pounds. I like to have 2 pounds of meat at every meal. I usually have 1 pound with breakfast because I was eating a lot of eggs, but now, I don't know what to do. I'm only eating 2 eggs a day, and I just don't feel as good as when I was having 6 eggs a day or a dozen eggs a day. Anyway, let me get back to the chat over here. And we have, let's see. Yeah, see. Okay. Jeff Streslick. Good morning, carnivores from Goose Creek, South Carolina. Good morning from Miami. I'm glad to have you here. I'm really happy. Wow, we have 57 people. That's pretty good. Okay. And Annabella says, Rick, how is Milton? Milton is fine. I will let him in a little bit later, maybe after, next half hour, whatever. When I get towards the end, I'll let him in so he can break it up because he'll knock us offline pretty quickly. Okay. Aaron says, Rick, you're taller than me, and my great uncle was 7'2". Wow. The tallest person I think ever in my family was about 6 feet tall. So I am the outlier. Okay. Jonathan says, I'm 6 feet, but I spend 22 hours a day around 10 inches. I lay down. Yeah, well, It's amazing. And this is the thing about Jonathan. Considering what he has to work with, it is amazing what he's been able to do. He's very inspirational to me. That's why I'm always complimenting his channel. You know, this is the great thing about the carnivore community. There's so many of us that come from different positions. Some of us may have come from health, others come from really bad, situations. But we're doing what we can because we're letting this lifestyle help us out as much as possible. Okay. Let's see. Okay, they're talking about blood over here. Um, let's see. A lot of comments. That's great. Okay, so no fast food places for me. Okay. All right. Jonathan says, it is so odd for me. I have 4 meals, train in the gym 3 times per week, 1 meal. Each meal is about as much as I can eat. Yet I wake up at 7:30 a.m. ravenous. Super annoying. Well, Jonathan, that's because you are building. You're constantly you're trying to keep yourself in anabolic state. No wonder. It makes sense. But that's good. One of the first things that when a person becomes old and feeble, they lose their appetite. So if you got a strong appetite, good for you. That means you got some time, time left to keep going. Cindy Demenci popping in to say, hello, good to have you here. I'm looking forward to your next interview. Varieties of spice of life. I had some nice chicken wings. Heart attack wings are really tasty. That's good. I don't feel I've got meat aversion because I'm a good cook. Well, there you go. Okay, Rick Johnson says, I've had 4 clients in 2 years with genuine meat aversion. For me, it is just I'm maxed out on food. Of course, that's what happens to me. I usually give them a portion of fruit and it corrects their path. Huh. That's good to know. So Jonathan's saying that for some people, fruit may be the way to go. And I tend to agree with that. Like I said, if you are not reacting badly to fruit, it's not the end of the world. I don't think that eating fruit is toxic, at least for most people. So if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Okay. Canada. I love some beef. Yes, I do too. I literally work in a restaurant. My job is to feed people, so I imagine. Well, that's why you call yourself Kitchen Witch. I will watch the replay later, Cindy. Well, that's fine. I'm glad you do. I'm glad that anyone takes their time to watch a quack like me. I figured I'd bore you all to sleep by now. Okay, let's see. We don't have as many Polish folk here as we used to. Okay, tend to illegally migrate. Yeah, used to be Chinese and Polish and Hungarian. Well, I have Hungarian in my family. My mother's family was all Hungarian. I'm a combination of Hungarian, German, Spanish, and French. So you got a little of everything. I am definitely a quack. Maybe that's why I like duck so much, because I know the French people love duck. I think they call it cunard or something like that. Annabelle, I ate a whole brisket in a day. Ha! A few months into carnivore, I had eating disorder, excessive hunger. I did have to lie down because my belly was full. Yes, I somehow lost weight from it. And that's the thing. When I ate 4 pounds of meat in one sitting, I was out for the rest of the day. I had to sit down. I felt awful, just awful. I felt like I'd swallowed a bowling ball. And it was all that pressure and it's just terrible. But I did get a good night's sleep that day. And the next morning I woke up and I hit 6 eggs and meat. So it wasn't too bad. Okay. All right, let's see. Jonathan says, I have emailed the cancer ward over the road for me to volunteer again. Okay. I hope they have a suitable role for me. 1 morning a week or something. I see. That's good. Jonathan is saying sometimes you can personally do things. And I think that that's much better than anyone donating money because, then again, if I was in a cancer ward and a beast like Jonathan came in there, I'd probably be scared. But then again, some people might actually be not so scared. They might say, "Oh, this is great." I you don't see too many bodybuilders like that around here, but when you do, they get your attention. That's for sure. Okay, have a good time. Yeah, that's great, Thomas. Jonathan says the only Western foods I can sit and enjoy are things of nostalgia, family meals, and tradition, etc. For me, that's worth it every month or two. Hey, In your case, you don't have to worry. The real trap comes from people that have food addictions. If eating a certain type of food then pushes you over the edge, just like I tell everybody, you ate the duck food and you fell into the duck pond. I know people that get into stuff like donuts and cakes and cookies and chocolate bars and all that stuff and candy. It's like the kid in the candy store they talk about. I go to a candy store and I look at it. To me, it's like dirt. You know, people actually eat that stuff. It's like when I go into the supermarket. I consider the supermarket to be sort of an indoor aerobic exercise center because you have to walk all this distance to get to the back of the store where the food is. Everything else is just crap. So I just can't. I can't imagine, why anybody would do that. And I can't ever remember what a banana tastes like. Good morning, Rick. Hey, retired Rick. Good to have you here. I look forward to the next time you have a live. I do well. I have some sabotaging coworkers, but cheese is my only. Okay. Oh, there it goes. Um, I hate when you move through this chat sometimes. I'm still working on getting the what do you call it, the OBS thing to work. I was playing with that yesterday. I had a little time, but you can waste a lot of time in the computer. Fresh bananas are my least favorite smell. Yeah, I credit Rick for being the first to mention the smell aversion. That's right. Took me 2 years to notice. 5-year carnivore as of 5 days ago. Jonathan has now officially joined the long-term carnivores club. I'm glad that you're here. Now, not saying that you weren't one of us, but my rule is that after 5 years, you become a long-term carnivore. And I think once you reach that point, your chance of going back into the world of duck food is about as close to zero as it's ever going to get. That first couple of years, especially the first few months, I think are very dangerous because I know too many people that have fallen off, as they say, fallen off the wagon. Okay. Let's see. BJ building Carmen. Next week there is team building at work. My supervisor told the food they order. My stomach was already turning around. I said, bring in my steak. There you go. Hello, Rick. It's Steve from South Carolina. I'll be in Melbourne on the 21st. Maybe I'll take a drive to Miami and try some iguana. Well, there you go. If you do, let me know. I appreciate you, Rick. My goal is to get my studio close to my bed so I can still record videos. Yes, sitting at the desk is a no-go 98% of the time, unless I use 4 grams of medical THC. Yep, cost me around $4. Well, that's the other thing. Some people, again, plant material, plant toxins, or plant compounds can provide powerful relief. I know people that use, well, there's different, obviously, cannabinoids are quite usable. And for some people, it's a good thing. I'm not saying that plants are your enemy. You can make plants your friend if you know how to use them. It's like anything else. It's like explosives. You can use explosives to build canals or remove debris. But on the other hand, you can blow yourself up with it. So if you understand how to use it, that's a good thing. But hey, if you can set up your studio where it works for you, that's great. And again, I encourage everyone that doesn't at this point to check out Jonathan's channel, Carnivore Muscle. You'll find a lot of good information there. I know I have. I've learned a lot from him. Annabelle, I'm proud of my recipes on my channel because of how I used to starve myself. I used to fast from starving. And the thing is, I know some in the carnivore community, they tend to be critical of the carnivore recipes, or what I call the imitation duck foods, because, well, you're not a real carnivore. You're not eating meat and drinking water. Well, coming from a real carnivore, and I don't think there's anyone in the carnivore community that could say that I am not a real carnivore. You've seen how I live. My life is about as basic as you can get in the carnivore world. And I give people fruits and vegetables, despite the fact that I've been called a hypocrite because they've seen me harvesting bananas and giving them to people that I know, making them heart attack fries. Said, you're contributing to the problem. I am not contributing to the problem. What I'm doing is I'm giving people what they want in a way that is less harmful. And I think learning how to eat certain fruits and vegetables is not the worst thing in the world. And I challenge everyone. What is healthier, a processed food diet or a meat based keto diet with select fruits and vegetables? I know everybody knows exactly what it is. If they don't harm you, go ahead and eat them. If you're in good shape, you have a great physique, you don't have aches and pains, and you're eating fruit and vegetables with your meat, go for it. It's working for you. Don't just eat meat just because that's the thing to do. Don't fall into a trend. It's like, oh, this is the trend. I'm the cool carnivore. No, you don't want to do that. That's not the way it works. Okay. It's tough as a carnivore having to deal with coworkers. Depends. Doesn't bother me. Okay. Yeah, I got some comments here. Congratulations on 5 years carnivore muscle. Yes. Um, I have to cook for a memorial chicken. Okay. Temptation. Don't be tempted. 58 live viewers. This makes me happy. It does too. I see 53 now. I must have lost a few, but I got 34 likes, which is pretty good. And let's see, I had lamb steaks. Lamb can be very good. I dabble in cooking as well. 5'4", the average size man. Oh, that must be somewhere in Asia or something. Okay. Let's see. All right. People want me glad. Heard and seen. Duck in French is called canard. That is correct. I've heard that before. Okay, the people, the world are just as glad to be heard and seen. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, I'm going to buy brisket next week. I use the juices to cook beef cheeks. That sounds good. That's good. One of the cooks deep fried the bacon and it hurt my soul. Now I won't eat it. They probably use seed oils. That's what it is. 5 years is a good guideline. I agree. That seems to be what I consider to be long term. I've always felt that way. It's a year and a half, a month for me in carnivore. That's great. No reason to do that to bacon. Yeah. You're better off putting it in a convection oven, or as they call it, the air fryer. Joe Singh says, hi, Rick. How are the ducks? The ducks are outside. I don't know if I can probably turn the computer around, but they're waddling over here. Let's see if I don't knock myself. Oh, boy. Come on. Nope. I can't turn this around. Hopefully one day I'll have a better camera and then I'll put one outside, have like a switch view so you can see the ducks. I love having the ducks out there. Okay, smoked bacon. The people that have the least success on the carnivore diet are that do challenges. Yes, and don't try to personalize their diet or they have a hard to track it. See, this is a problem. Jonathan brings up an excellent point. If you're going to go on some stupid challenge, the BBE challenge, the sardine fast, all this other crap, the lion diet, you're going to fail because you're going to feel like you're denying yourself something you want. You need to try a carnivore diet that actually satisfies you, that has the variety that you're used to. And this is important. And again, what Jonathan says, you need to track. You need to track what you're eating. If you have a problem, track it because that's the only way you're going to succeed. If you try to go from memory or the way you feel, that's what got you in trouble in the first place. So take the advice of Jonathan Carnivore Muscle. He knows what he's talking about. Don't listen to a quack like me. Listen to him. And it says if someone is over fat because they're eating too much food, surely it's best to track the amount of food so you can make measured assessments. If hunger signals aren't attuned yet, track, weigh. Yes. And the other thing too, don't do the calorie thing that a lot of people do. Use Jonathan's method of mass. Track your macros. That's how you're going to succeed. That's the only way that you can succeed because you don't have the natural ability that somebody like I do, to eat, to know what you want and when you want it and when it's too much. So you need to track. Don't be lazy. Laziness is what gets you in trouble. Okay, so let's see. They do it in other restaurants, apparently. Told the new guy, not mine. I get exhausted from eating an apple last year. I used to do herbal medicine. I don't react to garlic. See, that's it. If you don't react to it and you want to use it, go ahead and use it. Bubigo says, I dare Jonathan. I've lost well over 80 pounds and I play around with challenges all the time. Well, you're the exception. And here's Frugal Prepper's Garage and Garden. You should check out his channel if you want. He's not strict carnivore. He adds some fermented material, yogurt and sauerkraut and all that. So check him out. This is another example of someone who's doing well, and it's not a lion diet. It's a mixed diet. It's good. They sent out questionnaire work for those about approving um, about health. I told them to stop buying donuts and cookies and candy. That's it. That's good advice. I don't know how we can get in touch. You don't have a cell phone. Okay. So we got some conversations here. When I don't track and eat intuitively, I think I eat too much and gain weight. See, that's it. That's what Danny Boss says. You have to track if you want to succeed. I told a friend I wanted to try iguana one day. Well, I'm sure that friend is like, this person's nuts. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Steve Herring. If you look to Native Americans, they only used plants for medicine hundreds of years ago. That is correct. Plants are not your enemy. They can be your friend if you know how to use them. Okay, let's see. All right. Yeah, that's okay. Viking 442. Good morning from Tampa, Florida. Well, good morning. I figured you'd probably be over there with the Dr. Kilt's get together with the popular crowd and not here with the poor people. Annabelle, I'm so glad, Rick, you're getting more ducks. I told you it's just a matter of time. I'm getting called out. Oh, movie, I can't do challenges, not healthy. No, I agree with that. I like to listen to my body as well. If I call it a challenge, it keeps me on track. Hey, if it works, it works. Good morning, Rick. Great surprise. Well, hey, I'm glad to be surprised. Rick, what is the best way to cook lamb? The last time I made it, the smell and taste was too gamey for me and it was hard to eat. Generally, I grill the lamb, but what I found is that if lamb is too gamey, think about marinating. You can marinate lamb in yogurt. That's one way to do it. You can also use citrus. Sour oranges are really good. If your meat is gamey, another way you can do it is salt brine. You can actually soak your lamb in salt and that'll pull that out because I think it's a myoglobin. It might be the iron. I'm not sure what the whole gamey thing is. And by the way, I love that taste. I love that so-called gamey taste. That's craveable for me. But I think for some people, preparing the meat before you cook it helps. Also, I know that lamb stew, is going to be less gamey. And if you're not against using plant material, you could use plant material such as tomatoes, or you could use onions or other things like that and cook it with your lamb. And again, I like the gamey flavor. I just throw the lamb on the grill and I'm good to go. But if you don't like it, well, then you can always try other things. Okay, let's see. Um, Jumped around here. Okay. The world revolves around me. You can get a Tapo camera for $14.99. They're full 1080p and they support RTSP. So you can stream them. Well, that's interesting. I have my garden cam on my website. I'll have to look into that. Hi, Rick and his flock of ducks. Hello, Jerry Hall. We love you. I had to stick to lion diet simply because almost everything bothers me. Well, that's because of the way they're raised. So, in Lori's carnivore story, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. I challenge myself to stay on carnivore with an occasional egg week. Hey, that's fine. I like what Dr. Anthony says eat until you're full and stop when it doesn't taste good. Yes, everyone is different. That doesn't work for me, but it works for most people. Rick and I hate challenges. Yes, I do. Jonathan is right. I hate challenges. Life is challenging enough. I think that you should take Jonathan's advice if you can. Now, if you're one of those people that needs a challenge, go ahead and do it. But if you're scientific and analytical like we are, you're going to go for the macro method. It's just so much better. Okay, I bought a heap of eggs this week. Thank you guys. Rick, did they think I was nuts? Yeah, I'm sure they did. Booby, your video is hilarious. Rick, do you ever eat heavy cream? No, I really don't. Garlic and rosemary is perfect with lamb. See, there you go. If it doesn't bother you, use it. Rick, I'm going to email you my transformation from March yesterday. I'm looking forward to that. Love the bike rides, Rick. Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm glad that you like them. It's easy for me. I just put the camera in my pocket and go for a ride. And I can talk and think at the same time and get my outdoor time. Okay, they're saying hello there. We are mad for lamb in Australia. I've heard that. I've heard that. I'm doing good. Get coffee. Okay, go get your coffee. That's fine. I don't drink coffee, but I know a lot of people do. Aaron knows how I feel about her. Okay, so we have some. Okay, I want a donut. DS111. Okay, he's just making a joke over there. I can't imagine anybody wanting a donut. But then again, in my world, donuts are something you do, not something you eat. You get on an ATV and do donuts, or even do donuts in the Bobcat, but I would never eat a donut. I find them to be extremely awful. I want an apple fritter. Ew, they're nasty. I feel so encouraged, Rick. I knew it was silly to get down about the scale when my clothes are getting. You see, that's what it is. Weight does not matter. If that's the case, that means that bodybuilders would be unattractive because they're heavier than anybody. I have a friend that's a bodybuilder besides Jonathan, and weight is not the most important thing. I think what it comes down is to performance. What can you do? Now, obviously, if you have injuries or handicaps or whatever, you're limited. But with what you have, what can you do? If your weight is heavy, but you're strong and healthy and you're able to do things, that's a good thing. Okay, Annabella says, I feel so encouraged. All right, that's good. I still like donuts, but I won't eat them now. I don't know. I don't like donuts. Frugal prepper. Make donut. You cook a hamburger patty and cut a hole in the middle. There you go. The dog gets the donut hole. And I get this. That's good. Rick, does Milton fertilize a yard or does he have a box inside? He has a litter box. I am not letting him outside unsupervised because I don't want him to get hurt. There's a lot of stray cats around here. Plus, we had the raccoons here and he's not big enough to take them on. So I'm keeping him in the house. But he does fertilize the yard because all the cat litter and cat poop is thrown into the compost. So he does fertilize the yard. Okay, once a week, man. I feel like I can do anything. I'd like to challenge you to arm wrestling. I'd probably lose because I have such skinny arms, but I'll do it. There is a day of donuts in PL on 27th of February. Everybody will eat them. They bake donuts. Interesting. True about the weight. Your body changes composition. Yes. I'm just happy not to be in pain anymore. Carnivore strong. You got that right. Milton is protected. Yes, he is. I love animals and I don't want them to get hurt. I don't think any of my clients know their macros apart from one. They have a step up and just track food. That's fine. Life's much easier that way. I can't stand people using data artifacts as yardsticks. Well, that's true. I've noticed I've been a lot stronger mentally after my surgery. I'm much stronger mentally. I'm not as emotional. Yeah, about the scars on my face. Exactly. This is a gift for me. That's it. When you're a carnivore for a long time, you don't care. People make fun of me all the time. They say how unhealthy I look and that my eyes are dark and puffy, but I don't agree. And then I look at the YouTube channel, I see they have no videos, they have nothing on there. It's just some person that's insecure that's taking it out on me. That's fine. Okay, my daughter and I saw a large raccoon last night and it went straight into the storm drain. I heard they're the second most evolved hand after us. Yeah, they're a pain. I've already said the next raccoon that I see around my ducks is going to have a date with my crossbow. So if you see me wearing a coonskin cap, you know where it came from. Not monkeys. That's true. Harnaville, hello. Jonathan says, I have a guy now, started around 126 kilograms after 2 months. He's down to 122 kilograms, but he's drastically changed shape. Yes. Okay, see, I'm 103 kilograms now. You have to excuse me. I've been working in these condominiums during the week, and I felt like I was catching something. And I've been inside in the morning, so I may have a little bit of sniffles. But once I go outside and I work in my yard, I'll be 100% better. Being indoors does not agree with me very well. Okay. Thanks, Rick, for the lamb tips. I will try it. You won't regret it. You're going to love it. No, it was cited that they can open a jar better than a monkey. Okay. Raccoons are a problem. Someone hit a possum with their car, and the possum big as a raccoon. Some possums get big too. Question. Science says 2 to 3 coffees a day encourages longevity. Guess the flaws of that study. It was probably financed by coffee producer. If that's the case, I'll be dead before you know it because I've always hated coffee. But then again, I tell people, if you like coffee and it doesn't hurt you, go ahead and drink it. Who cares? Some people even make a thing out of it. You got like Dustin, the Keto Simple channel. You got Mitch, Old Guy Carnivore. Coffee is a big part of their channels. You see my channel, the only thing I ever drink is ice water. Okay, let's see. I have an app that helps me get a ratio. Okay, that's good. Some people use technology to do that. Dan and Boss, my body has changed since starting carnivore. I'm more curvy in some places, more muscular. There you go. See, that's it. And it's like I tell women, don't stress to be a toothpick because most guys don't like toothpicks. I would think that girls that may have a little extra weight, if they can build up some muscle, they actually look better. You know, if they don't have saggy arms or, saggy stuff, they can get a little firm. It just shows that those are the women that are good, that they can do things, they're very useful and they're healthy. And I think that's the most important thing. So don't try to be a supermodel because that's not something that most people like. I think most people like women that are mentally stable and that have good, at least a more natural look. And especially if you're going to have children, because you want to have a mother that has the energy and the strength to handle the challenges of children. Okay. How's your air conditioner? I haven't touched it yet. I'm going to work on that today. Did you clean your AC? I cleaned all the parts, but I haven't put it together yet. Dan, who knew there were curves under there? Well, there you go. See, it has been rainy. I worked the fire. Oh, fire damage areas. Yeah. Well, hopefully you don't have a bunch of landslides over there. There shouldn't be as much rain over there in California. In natural medicine, and coffee is bad for the liver. I don't drink coffee. I have a cup of tea occasionally. Well, that's interesting. Oh, look, Mark Harmon is here. This is another one of the bodybuilder carnivores. You ought to check out his channel. Um, again, there's so many inspirational people here. That's why I'm glad to be part of this carnivore community. Even though I am the carnivore quack, I tend to, I think it was great being able to meet and actually confirm some of the things that I believe. Because even though I still thought I was going to have a heart attack, I figured that it was sort of like maximize your life before the heart attack. That was the idea of the carnivore diet. Okay, I'm not very curvy. Well, you don't have to be, Thomas. You're not a girl. I'm an hourglass. I can never change that. I don't want to be skin and bone now. That is correct. You don't want to be skin and bone. That is not attractive. It's like that singer, Karen Carpenter. It was sad what happened to her because she just saw herself the wrong way. If you're a woman and you have extra weight and you're healthy and strong, I think that you're doing really well. That's just my opinion. And if the guys don't like it, they don't deserve you. That's what I believe. Okay. I saw a few lives of the chaos. Yeah, right. That was a mess over there. Annabella, DS111. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. Jonathan says, Q, not a question. Rick, if you care enough, I'd look into NAC and quercetin for your congestion. Short term might help. Apologies for the unsolicited. No, I'm glad you did. The problem is, I've been all week in these basically condominiums, and they're very artificial, and they have that drywall, which I'm very allergic to. I have a problem with drywall. Um, it's not the gypsum; it's actually the paper, and also the paints that are used. I am allergic to a lot of paint. I make my own paint, which is typically made from plant oils, such as soybean or canola oil, and I use natural materials. But I prefer to have my walls in just a lime or gypsum plaster and unpainted. So that really that works. But I'm gonna look into that. Okay. I was worried about protests in January after we won, and now this. Well, I don't know. We didn't win, but yeah, Karen Carpenter's brother was a total jerk to her. Well, that's good to know as well. I'm sure there was some kind of family rivalry with Richard and her. That's not good. I think he's still around too. They don't like it, let them not like it. That's what I say. Okay. Why do birds suddenly? Yeah, that was a song called Close to You, I think it was called. I remember that as a kid. Used to hear the Carpenters on the radio all the time. Long hair, curvy work. Somewhere to pull someone. Jonathan's being funny. I love Karen Carpenter singing also. Yes, I do too. I have a couple of Carpenter's albums. Karen's story is tragic. One of my first songs I learned to play on the piano. Well, that's good. They used to sing that in elementary school in the music class. Every time you are near, just like me, they long to be. I remember it very well. Beautiful voice, yeah. I like them. They just mess around a bit with B vitamin status long term. They help break down mucus, but at the risk of intestinal permeability. If dosed high too long. Thought Karen and Richard were closer. I have to look into that. I didn't know. Um, the little sniffles that I get is nothing compared to when I was a kid. I used to have terrible sinus issues growing up. And one of the things they had talked about was some kind of operation. They were going to do my nose or whatever. And because I had all those ear infections, it is kind of funny that although I do get the occasional sniffles, haven't had any really serious problems since I started the carnivore diet. And I haven't had an ear infection since. Even one time I fell into a septic tank. So you can imagine how many germs were in there. And after I washed myself off, I figured, well, I'm going to get an eye infection and ear infection. And I got no infection whatsoever. So I think in many ways, the carnivore diet benefited me. Also, when I was younger, my ears used to stick out more. And if I get one of my older pictures, they used to make fun of me. They said I was like the mad, what was it? You remember that cartoon, Mad or Mad Magazine? You had, what was that kid's name? Not Milton. What was that guy called? Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of the Mad character. Somebody probably remembers it. Newman, Alfred E. Newman, I think is what it was called. And he had the ears that stuck out. And yeah, that's it, Alfred E. Newman. See, so my ears used to stick out, but when I went on the carnivore diet, my teeth at the bottom are all crowded. The top ones were crowded too. My mouth expanded, and my head got like totally different. I had a bit of a different. I mean, it was the same basic shape, but it's. I don't know how to describe it, but I think that the carnivore diet did have a lot of effects on me, and that was one of them. Um, I never did get the braces, but yeah, I that was good. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, nobody got close to Richard and his piano. Okay, don't fall into a septic tank on purpose. No, what happened to me is that we were trying to find the septic tank, and then the lid collapsed because it was unknown, and basically what happened, we got out and I took a bar and I was probing it, and as soon as I hit the septic tank lid, it went down. I ended up in the septic tank. So not fun. Those things do happen. I learned my lesson a long time ago. So from now on I do it at an angle. When I tap the septic tank, I do it at an angle, which is really weird because it wasn't even a sinkhole. It just dropped. I guess once it was hit, it collapsed. Okay, let's see. Don't okay. Mitch went to Kiltz's party after all. I guess he talked him into it. He said he wasn't going to go, but I guess somebody must have paid for it or something, and he decided to go, which is fine. Go ahead and go there and hang out with the elite. But the rest of us, we're here, we're online. I don't know. I don't think anyone that's in the get together. I don't even know if they're doing anything right now. I guess I don't know what time they're going to the restaurant, but they're probably asleep. They probably spent all night last night doing their carnivore party, and now they're probably sleeping or something. I don't know. If anyone went to went to Dr. Kiltz's get together, let me know. But again, I'm not saying that Dr. Kiltz is some kind of scammer or something. I'm sure he means well, but he just comes across to me as sort of a salesman, marketing kind of guy. I don't know. I mean, I'm just being skeptical because I'm a skeptical person. I just don't. I mean, to me, it just seems wrong to have a get together and then make a condition of spending all this money just to meet somebody. I don't really see the point of it. Like having to pay to play. It just bothers me. And that's the other thing. To me, it just seems like a guy that's trying to sell me a used car. All the gestures, the way he talks, he kind of talks down to you or something like that, I would much rather listen to Dr. Anthony Chafee, because Dr. Chafee is talking to you from a position of experience. He's not trying to sell you anything. Even Dr. Sean Baker, even though he has his Rivero service, I don't feel like I'm being sold to. This is the kind of person I could talk to, and I really like that attitude. So that's just me. Okay, so let's see. I rarely sneeze these days. Crying shame. Okay. Annabella, I haven't sneezed in at least a year. I sneeze from time to time when I'm allergic. I was actually surprised Mitch changed his mind. I wasn't surprised. I think I mentioned he probably would go, but I mentioned that in one of my videos. I kind of know how people think. I don't much like parties anymore. I don't use a lot of tissue on Carnivore. I don't even use paper towels. I don't have any or tissues. If I have to blow my nose, I'll just do it outside. Sneezed this morning, kids were sneezing. Went to 2 parties last year. One was in my house. Oh, Jonathan. The first one, shoulder surgery. Yeah. I guess being a medication. Major septic tank story reeks. Yeah, I know. I can't imagine. Yeah, I couldn't. I pulled myself out of there so fast you wouldn't believe it. I grabbed the side of it and climbed up. My feet were slipping on that crap, but I got out. It's one of the good things about being strong, even if you're skinny. I can get out of just about anything. Okay, Jonathan says, okay, I don't like watching Kilts and all his arm waving. Yeah, exactly. He annoys me for some reason. Isn't Dr. Kilts the same guy that pays his team to write articles for him and promised to have me on his channel do an IG Live? 5 times and never came to fruition. That's good to know, Jonathan. He got someone to email me recently to come on his show. Guess what the response was? Oh, I know exactly what it was. Okay, Apex Odyssey question. I have a grounding mat. It's a cord. Okay. It snaps onto a mat and plugs into the outlet grounding hole. If the mat is grounding, wouldn't just holding on to the snap at the end? Yeah, it would. It would be grounding. In fact, just standing on the floor, if you have a concrete floor with bare feet, is grounding. I need to make a video on grounding. This is right up my alley because I am an electrical engineer. I have an oscilloscope and meters. I really do need to do that. I know when I was on Nia's channel, they were talking about grounding. I'm going to make a video on that. That's something I want to do. And, it's a good point. I like that. That's a subject. I'm going to make a lot of videos. I've been a little bit lax on it because I've been working and, I don't have really good equipment, but I'm working on it. Okay. I would love to meet. Oh, we got a question. Okay. I would love to meet Dr. Anthony and Paul Mason. I'd like to meet them both. Paul Mason, you don't see him too much, but he's, blonde Australian. I'd love to meet him. He seems kind of interesting to me. Okay. Jonathan says Dr. Chafee is a stand up guy. He's the same offline and online. Yes. He has a wacky sense of humor, which we unfortunately don't get to see much. Well, he's not the only one. You can see that right here because the carnivore quack is almost the same. And Steve kind of says, almost went to Kiltz's get together, but it would have cost me $1,500. If I had $1,500, I'd get another engine for my truck and 4 new tires and probably have money left over for steaks. There is no way in the world that I would pay a single penny to have to go and see any of these people. I just don't see it. I would rather concentrate on the people that I know personally. Okay, good morning, Aaron. Hi, Cassandra. Okay. Jesse interviewed Dr. Gary Fecky. Okay. I've seen him before too. I can't stay too long. I want to run the grocery store. Well, you do what you have to. That's fine. I'm here just as long as other people are here. Head highs are the worst. Okay, good morning. I'll send you the response that I sent to our friend Carrie. Okay, that'll be interesting. I want to see that. Got to get going, Rick. Awesome. Well, retired Rick, I'm glad you were here, and I'll try to catch you the next time that you have a live. We have to kind of watch each other's channels because that's the only way that we are going to succeed. What bugs me these days, all the gimmicks and the fact that supplements and such aren't really controlled. Yes, so hard to believe anything anymore. Can we just walk around with a magnet in our pocket? Well, Yeah, I'm very skeptical of supplements as well. Mandy Vatis. Hi, Rick. How's everything going for you? There's different carnivore levels, Rick. Top, middle, and bottom, sadly. I know we're fit. Yeah, carnivore is a relative term. In Rick's world, my world, if you eat 70% or more of your diet is meat, you are carnivore, period. You could be carnivore with some duck food. Well, not really. You could be carnivore with plant food or plant free carnivore. I'm going to do a video on that as well about my levels of carnivore. I think you're just supposed to stand on the dirt with no shoes on and touch. Well, I got news for you. Concrete is very efficient. I will show you when I do my grounding video. I'm going to show you exactly how it works because the oscilloscope tells the story. Dr. Kiltz is Italian. Does he talk with his friends a lot? I'm a fiend for talking with my hands, maybe because there's Spanish flood in me. Oh, that might be it. Bye, everyone. Bye, retired Rick. I'm blessed with having a great carnivore doctor. Well, you're good because I don't have a doctor. I haven't had a doctor since 1996. Rick is our carnivore cartoon. All right. Let's see. Rick is a character. Rich is a character for sure, cut from certain cloth. Yeah, love you guys. Rick, okay. Yes, he is cut from a country tablecloth. Okay. That's referring to the shirt. Yes, I've had this for years. I like wearing old clothes because I can wear the same clothes that I wore in college. They fit just fine. Rick, I have a seasonal job. I'm off work from October to March. Oh, good for you. It's nice. By using iodine drops, stream and inhale through your nose. Sometimes help my sinuses a lot. Well, again, once I go outside and I clear this out of my system, I think I'm detoxifying because of being in these condominiums. I find these places, they're loaded with dust as well. They have more dust than my old house does. Tablecloth's about right. I don't like how he blends together different fasts and explains that we are all gods. What does Rick think of property tax? I would like to see property tax eliminated. Eliminating property tax would elevate my income. It would probably double it, and I would be able to live a lot better. So I'm very much against it. You shouldn't be taxed on something. If you're supposed to own it, you should be able to own it. You don't have to rent it. I want to get grounding measure. Every sidewalk in my neighborhood has dog poop on it. Yeah, here it has duck poop. I would walk around barefoot. So I go to the park, stand in the grass barefoot, and stare into the sun. Okay. Wish I could help out in the dirt. Now, what you could also do, you can actually make shoes. Leather shoes are conductive. So if you wear leather shoes outside, you're going to get more contact with the earth. And if you've ever seen hobnail boots that they had in the old days, they had these nails that went through. And if you wore that, I'm sure you could get a pretty good ground. But again, when you work with electricity like I do, grounding is actually a bad thing if you get shocked because you could end up dead. So, but again, I'm going to make a video on that. That's a good amount of material. Okay. Oh, man. Thomas says, whenever I look at your shirt, Wick, I wish I want to go on a picnic. Well, there you go. It looks like a tablecloth. I'm going to stop the hate now. Just remember, I'm much, much, much more forward with my opinion first. Well, that's good. Yes. And I appreciate that. Probably leave dusty clothes outside till you wash it rather than letting in your house. That's a good point. Well, they're in the garage anyway. I finished the color I was working on my diamond painting. Great. So you're allergic to Milton. Is Milton allergic to you? No, I'm not allergic to Milton. I'm around Milton. He doesn't bother me. So I just said to your channel, Carnivore, subscribe. Good. Subscribe to Jonathan's channel. Take my advice. You won't regret it. Hi, Rick. Animal base, and I've been having about 200 milliliters of hypertonic seawater for 5 years. Perfect combination. Carnivores should try it. Hey, if you're going to use salt, I guess you could use seawater to some extent. Just don't overdo it. Meant for people with those higher up levels money. Attract only those carnivores and not budget carnivores. That's what I've been saying. It's like an elitist kind of thing. The carnivore diet should never fall to the elitist nonsense that the vegans do. To me, that's just wrong. Carnivore diet is actually the diet for everyone. And that's what I'd like to do. When I get whatever business I get into, I want to find a way that I can make carnivore more accessible and affordable for more people. Because I think the carnivore diet is the great equalizer. If you can feed yourself the highest quality foods, higher energy state foods, and not just eat a bunch of grass and berries, you can definitely make more progress. And just think, even if you turn out to be a total quack like me, you're poor, you live in a broken down house, you ride a bike, you ride around in a junky car, and you just barely survive, but you don't have any health issues. You're not on prescriptions. You don't suffer. You sleep good every day. It's actually a pretty good life, in my opinion. So I think this is something good, and I never really realized it until a few years ago. It's just amazing. Okay, all right. What do we got here? I'll have to take a photo of my diamond painting. Yeah, you should. I have my results. Heart attack drumsticks are better than baked drumstick. Now there you go. See, heart attack chicken is the best chicken. I'm going to make some for lunch today. So as soon as I get off this live stream, I'll be firing up the lard and I'll be cooking up Rick's heart attack chicken, which I love. Love it. Meat was so much cheaper before COVID. Yeah, it was. I used to eat for $5 a day. Now it's more than $10 a day, sometimes $15 a day. Isn't the event a fund? Yeah, that I'm so sick and tired of that stupid, you know, we're going to fund the fundraiser for this documentary. I mean, okay, fine. You're going to make a documentary, but keep pushing it all the time. I'm getting fed up with it, really. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. To me, I'm getting fed up with it. I like little tips. Okay. Shop at the Dollar Tree to get pork rinds. Oh, that's interesting. Look at the meat expiration. Go back to the store before it expire. Yeah, you go there and say, look, mark it down for me. I do that all the time. I call it pre-dumpster meat. I haven't gotten sick from it yet. I've never gotten food poisoning, and I've eaten everything from dumpster meat to roadkill, and I've never gotten sick. Okay, Apex Odyssey. Okay, Terry Sue. Seems like vegan versus carnivore is very similar to extreme left, extreme right policies. It can be. I think we need to talk. I need to figure out how to do bicep curls. Yeah, Jonathan's the person to talk to for sure. I just described carnivore muscle. See, Jonathan's getting more subscribers. Take my advice. You won't regret it. Fundraiser for Carrie's movie. Yes, Carrie's movie, all the movie. Well, I mean, the guy has a movie theater, so I don't know if it was Alia or who was the one that gave him the idea for a carnivore documentary. I know she was the one that had the idea for the 24-hour, 12-hour live stream. Making fat. I'm saying up tallow. Yes. Thanks for the Dollar Tree tip. Pork rinds are often not stocked at Publix. Oh, Publix. Publix is the worst store here. It's got all the appeal of Home Depot and the prices of the stratosphere. Publix is crap. It used to be my favorite store as a kid. Now it's like going into a warehouse. It's horrible. I hate Publix. Sandy Bly says, I love heart attack chicken wings. Rick is the proof that our stomachs are like scavengers. Yeah, right? I feel making a carnivore doctory movie. General public won't watch anyway. Yeah, let Carrie do his documentary and see what happens. I'm sure many of us, we can add to it. It's kind of interesting that he picked certain people for the documentary and not others, but that's okay. Our real life, I've been putting myself on the internet for 2.5 years now just to show people that this is not a fad, this is not a fraud, this is not something that just came up. I mean, you could criticize me for having sinus issues for working indoors and having an allergy, but I don't think I look bad for 56 and a half. And I've got lots of energy. You can watch me ride my bike. Some people think I ride like a maniac, and I'm talking while I'm riding. Would I be able to do that if I was unhealthy? Everybody else I know that's 56, 57 looks terrible. I don't color my hair. I have a full head of hair. I think that's more genetics than anything. But if the carnivore diet was so bad, I should have a giant gut. A lot of the guys my age, they have a gut that sticks out. They can't even see their own feet. And they always do. If you've ever looked at the Heart Attack Grill restaurant, they made a fake commercial. and they gave you a warning. And I think one of the warnings was, the side effects of the heart attack diet was weight gain and the inability to see your penis, which I thought was really funny. Yeah, I know a lot of people that have that already, so that's not a good thing. Okay, um, make a duckutory. Question: Do you do? Let's see. Do you all do a simple meat feed diet? Or do you make carnivore buns, rolls for hamburgers, pizza? I generally just do meat and water, but once in a while I'll make buns for heart attack burgers. When I eat heart attack burgers myself, I'm too lazy to make the buns. But when I eat with friends, I will make the heart attack buns, and they're made from pork rinds, eggs, and cheese. But now with the price of eggs, I haven't made any heart attack buns. I just eat my 4 patties with cheese and yogurt, and that's it. That's my heart attack burger. Okay. Um, when you cook your chicken in the lard, do you still keep that lard and reuse it? Yes, I do. Do you strain it? Yes, I do. I hate throwing away good grease. I will use the lard until it no longer really solidifies in the refrigerator and it has a darker color. Then I use that as a hand cleaner and I react it with sodium carbonate and or sodium hydroxide to make soap. So the lard never ever gets thrown away. It's going to be used for cooking and eventually for bathing. And I'll have to show you sometime. That lard even takes off roof cement. It takes off grease when you're working on the car. It's also good to put on your skin. Now, I'm a mechanic most of the time and I work construction. And look, my hands don't look bad for somebody that works physically, and I never wear gloves. That's another thing. I don't wear gloves because it just is uncomfortable for me. So I don't do it. The only time you'll catch me wearing gloves is when I work with chemicals or if I'm working with electricity. I do have the rubber gloves to avoid getting shocked. But other than that, you know, I don't do that. Okay, we're down to 48 people, so we're boring everybody. Let's see. Amazing how you picked up on the meaning from the initial part of my question. Yeah, I mistyped and hit enter. Hey, I'm pretty good at reading what people are thinking. Oh man, when I made those heart attack chicken wings so good, you got that right. I went to see a carnivore documentary amplifying neurodiverse success stories until that. Yeah, I want to see that. Right. I can't morally support someone who doesn't care about the autism movement. Well, I care about it because you're my friend and I've known people that have autism issues. The problem is that most of them are not willing to try the carnivore diet. Annabella says carnivore is a lifesaver for me. I probably would have died from starving myself. See, you don't want to be like Karen Carpenter. My heart healed quickly on carnivore. That's good. No high blood pressure. And Jonathan says Rick is extremely intuitive. Boy, he's correct. I use the fat melted from bacon only one more time. It depends. It's your preference. Okay. What else do we have? I'm 58. Don't look too bad if I say so. That's right. Well, you look fine, but that's because you're a carnivore. Very sorry about your friend. Lost my diabetes. Yeah, that's sad. I mostly eat meat and eggs, but sometimes make chaffles for burger buns. The cheese waffles are popular with some people. And I think a lot of times, if you live by yourself like I do, you don't need that. But when you live with other people, you have to try those carnivore recipes. And again, I would recommend like Chris Cooking Nashville's channel because he has a lot of creative carnivore recipes, and that's good. Terry Sue, I made 20 hamburger patties yesterday in the air fryer. They're the best healthy. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Oh, my poor wife is alone. His poor wife is alone, and the house remodel is finally finished. Okay. Rick, you strike me as well rounded and holding life well. It's not easy to stay strong. Thank you. I appreciate that. 750 just to attend Kiltz's get together. Then 2 nights in a hotel. That's ridiculous. That's a lot of wasted steak. I agree. I agree. I'm sorry about your friend. My husband doesn't know. Okay, so we got some conversations. I put tallow on my lips and face. I put tallow all over my body. I probably shouldn't have said that because some people probably get sick from that. I see that more and more. No kissing butt, Just something. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I saw a very good interview this week, Dr. Gary Fecky. I saw that on the channel. I commented on it as well. Um, I'd never even heard of carnivore diet until COVID hit. I never heard of it either, and I've been doing it since the 1980s. Jonathan says, "We don't care over here. Love is better than hate." Rick's Saturday morning live is for my mental health. Well, thank you, Jonathan. And I want to still spend time with my friend without the sensory overload. I try to keep things calm here. I don't use any of the crazy light effects or any of this other stuff. It's just me and you, just like if we were here having a conversation together. That's my point. I've never seen that channel. Okay. He is good student. Yeah, Jesse. I've seen him before too. This is such iconic, such a tonic for me. Well, thank you, Annabella. Good to hear about your success. Started carnivore. My heart started beating. High blood pressure appeared. Okay. Calm down after 2 weeks. It does work. Picturing Rick Towel. Yeah, probably not the thing you want to think about. Okay. I use towel on my face only since I buy it. It's not cheap. I get it as a byproduct from the fat that I get from meat. This was fun, Rick, but someone has to go make the sauerkraut. Well, go for it. I had some sauerkraut fermenting last week or two. Rick, you are the original carnivore. I'm not the original carnivore, but I am the longest carnivore in the United States that I know of. I am also the tallest carnivore. There is no carnivore that I know of that is 6'6". Dr. Sean Baker is 6'5". With shoes on, he's my height, so he's the closest to it. I hope one day I get to meet him in person. We're a bit of extreme. Dr. Sean Baker is from a background of muscle and bodybuilding, and I'm from a background of being a quack. So I'm the only carnivore that can pass for a vegan. I've had people tell me I could pass for a 30-year-old vegan. So I'm a 56-year-old carnivore that can pass for a 30-year-old vegan. That's pretty funny. Okay. Um, let's see. This was for Rick with something sauerkraut. Okay. Um, this is the one night a week, a day. Okay, good. Stay up. Well, that's good. For you, it is nighttime. I took a screenshot. I'm a simple person too, Rick. Love that about you. That's what I am. Let's see. Fecky was the first carnivore doctor who was banned. Yeah, I heard about that and targeted, but came back from the ashes. He might be from your part of the world. It's Australia or New Zealand or one of those places. I know that. I know a Dutch carnivore that's, 6 foot. Okay, 6'8". Rick is a winner. North American. There you go. Well, if you know a Dutch carnivore that's that tall, you should get him online. That'll be interesting. Sick as a dog. I got flu. That flu is going around, and I wonder if the allergy that I have may actually be a flu because several people that I work with are sick. And, I've had other times where I thought I had an allergy and everybody else that got sick. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But whatever it is, this is just a nuisance. It's a minor nuisance. Well, you got me. I'm not 6'6". Yeah, that's true. See, people think vegans are skinny. They do not comprehend that meat eaters can be also. I'm living proof of that, let me tell you. Tall Rick with long arms. Very good for pulling wrenches. That's what I do, being a mechanic. I'm sorry you're sick, okay? Um, yeah. And the CB Carmack, I'm glad to see you back here. That's another thing. Sorry you got sick, but I guess, law enforcement, you get all kinds of germs floating around. I bet old ladies love you in the groceries aisle. Yeah, to reach stuff. I get that all the time, even in the Home Depot. I go there. It says a lot of stores say ask for assistance with the top shelf. And I guess because of the way I dress, sometimes people think I work in the store. Oh, can you help me get that? Sure. And I always do that. So I know in the Home Depot, they put like cages around some of the electrical stuff. I reach in from the side and grab what I want. So, and my arms are skinny, so I can fit in some pretty tight spaces. And it's almost like a challenge. I've had items behind that stupid plastic thing, and I reach in sideways and I push it around and I get it out. Like, why do I waste my time? If I was going to steal it, I would just steal it. Why do you have to lock this stupid thing up? I got to walk out of the store anyway to pay for it. It's just stupid. All right, let's see. I'm a short little carnivore. Hey, that's good. He's just long and lanky. Yeah, there you go. Um, my flu morphed to pneumonia. Ooh, be careful, those of you get it. Yeah, that's not good. I remember my classmate told me over 2 decades ago he was in Russian, and the rich Russian only eat a piece of meat with cheese and no bread. Huh, that's good. Seemed crazy. Well, they might have been on the right track. I hope you're well. I've done so much. Yeah, that's true. So we got a lot of conversations here. I used to manage the vegan health food shop. That's what Jonathan did. Yeah. I'd say half significantly overweight and 60 plus. The young ones are significantly malnourished. Yep, it's an anecdote. That's right. The older ones tend to be overweight and the young ones are just so skinny. And I know a younger vegan guy is in his 20s. And when I saw him without a shirt, I was in shock because you could see the ribs. I'm skinny, yes, but my ribs are not visible. I'm, let's just say that I'm healthy for being skinny. And I looked at him and I felt like I was looking at an Auschwitz prison camp or something. It's terrible, but I'm not going to take my shirt off. I don't want to make anyone sick, so I didn't make any comparison. But it is kind of sad. Okay, I make my own beef fat. Yeah, I do that too. Suet, MCT oil. There you go. I was thinking about it. I realized bread is for the poor. When somebody's in prison, they say bread and water. They don't say steak and eggs. I'm very pleased you had some success with you. I offered reduced price. Okay. I'll pass through. Yep. Our bodies are not designed to run on carbohydrates. That is correct. Not laughing at you being sick, CB, but the mind pick of Rick reaching through the home. Yeah, Home Depot. Yeah, that's me. It's like something like stealing. I really like Jesse Chapas. He asks the exact same questions I would. It's good. I could use a Rick in the kitchen and shopping. There you go. 5 foot is vertically challenged. That's why they put cabinets lower, I think. One thing that's crazy. I am hungry for a change. With carnivore, I'm not usually hungry. Well, there you go. Hmm. I think when you get sick, a lot of times you'll get hungry because your body craves additional nutrition. Speaking of craving, I'm hearing some rumbling at the door, which probably means the beast is trying to get in. Now it's around 10 o'clock. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the door. I'm going to let the beast in if he wants to come in. If I get knocked offline, we know who caused it. But let me go ahead and grab the beast. Hold on. Milton, where are you? That's a shock. Oh my goodness. Well, well, that's interesting. For the first time, he didn't want to come in. He's over there sleeping on the couch. So I guess he managed to calm down. He was extremely wild this morning. I gave him some raw ground beef. I went to Aldi yesterday. Somebody had asked me earlier what I bought at Aldi. I went down there to get beet. They have like 2.69 a pound for those rolls of ground beef. It's like 5 pounds for $12 and something. So I bought 4 of those rolls and I made a video of it, but it's kind of stuck in the phone that I'm using. I'll upload that. I have to edit a piece of it off, but I'll go ahead and put that in there. But yeah, it was I gave him some meat and he went totally wild this morning. He was running around like a maniac. I mean, this cat was everywhere. And I guess now he's falling asleep. I called him and he's sleeping on the couch. I guess the door rumbling must have been the wind that's blowing because I have all the windows open in my house except for the ones here in the bedroom because I'm running the air conditioner. And the air conditioner is really nice because unlike a lot of places, my house leaks air. So I get a lot of fresh air that mixes in. A lot of these other buildings that I'm in that are sealed up. I mean, first of all, most homes that I go into, they have smells in the air that bother me. One of the biggest ones is these detergents. I'm not sure what they put in these detergents, but they smell like chemicals mixed with flowers. And then people use perfumes and colognes. These are other things that really bother me, especially here in Miami. These Latinas and Latinos, They use the strongest chemicals that you could ever imagine. There's this skinny kid that lives next door. I don't know what he puts on his body, but it smells so strong. I can smell it in my house. That's 100 feet away. Now, how strong does that have to be? I feel sorry for his girlfriend. It's shocking. Like, well, okay. And again, I I don't use the stuff. I'm sure that people stay away from me because I don't use the fancy colognes and deodorants and all that stuff. Basically, I smell like raw ground beef and lard. That's what I think. But I would rather deal with that than have to deal with the strong chemical smells that give me an actual headache. My mother was very big into perfume, and we would get in her Ford Pinto station wagon. I'd sit in the back. I would really get nauseous. I would feel sick. I'd get headaches and stuff like that. And when I was a kid and I was in junior high, and then they started giving you the deodorant stick, they had this stuff called Speed Stick. It was green and it smelled really strong and I hated it. I couldn't deal with the stuff. So I told everyone, you don't like the way I smell, stay away from me. And that's it. But I haven't had anybody complain. I think a lot of it is just people are afraid of me, so they wouldn't say it. If I smelled bad, they wouldn't say anything. I don't think I do. But then again, what do I care? I live by myself. It doesn't matter. I take a bath every single day. I know there's a few carnivores out there that say they don't smell bad, and I think that's nonsense because I'm sure if you asked anybody else around them, they would probably disagree. But for me, it's not an issue. I'm not going to worry about it. If I go to a formal get together, I always try to take my bath before I go. So if you're going to a wedding or to a party or whatever, I'll take my bath beforehand. And then, you know, I'm not going to go there if I've been working outside. Plus the fact that I work with dirt and grease and all these other things. So I have to constantly take showers and stuff like that. All right, let's see what we got here. We got some people leaving. I see we're down to 49. And let's see. We see Thomas is left. And who else? Jeff is leaving. Quack you later. Yes, that's fine. So let's see. Milton is a cutie. Yeah, let me go back here. Look at some of these chats. And get surprised when I eat meat. Yeah, you wouldn't think. Some people don't think that women like meat, but some of them do. Cats don't like being behind closed doors. Well, this cat has the entire house except for my room. I lock him out because he's a black menace. Um, okay, how much weight have you lost? So we have some conversation going here. And our male survived his first year outside as a stray. Now he's indoors only. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's it. Hopefully my cat will eventually stop trying to run outside. Having hamburger with cheese, that's good. Anyone else noticed that some live viewers' names are cut off from the first letter? Yeah, I've seen that too. I don't know what that's about. I love being a quacker. Well, thank you. I'm glad you do. Being a quacker is fun. The Febreze brand is using a newer formula to make their fragrances stick more. Ugh, I hate that stuff. I can't stand it. It's like these car fresheners. These things are nasty. It's just a strong smell. Lost around 80 kilograms. Oh, good. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. Yes. Okay. So I'm caught up. Has Milton be a good boy and left you little gifts? No, he hasn't pooped. He poops in the box. He's a good little kitten. Nice geckos. No, he doesn't leave me the lizards, but he has brought me cockroaches. Jonathan, I've noticed that a few times. Carnivore muscle. Okay. I'm handy. Yeah, that's what it is. I can't handle most perfumes. Neither can I. Black Menace sounds bad. I like Black Plague. Okay. I experiment. I didn't shower for 5 days. Zero body odor. I don't know how you do it because I can't do that. Doesn't work for me. Maybe you don't live in the tropics. We have two. One won't go in the garage with the door open. Now, those cats can be funny. Try to get every chance he can. He's gotten outside. Okay, let's see. I don't know which ones are the worst yet. I couldn't handle the scents. This is a problem, and I can't stand pretty much anything. It's like People I work with, they use something called Axe body spray. I hate that stuff. It's just really bad. And one of the biggest problems we have here in Florida, people wear those stupid long sleeve shirts, which I really, really hate. You know, everybody does it that cuts grass and that works outside and construction. They're usually like yellow or orange. They're just horrible. And that stuff makes you really hot. You sweat more, and they're always dirty. And it's like I don't, I don't like that. I tend to wear what I do. I wear two shirts. I actually wear an on the outside. I wear an undershirt. These things are all cotton, and I find that helps. And then when you start sweating, you just have to keep changing clothes. If you work indoors, it's not as bad. But again, I think one of the people that I've worked with, it seems like the fatter they are, the more likely they are to smell bad. But I noticed that the people that eat a lot of junk food, they smell the worst. Some of them actually smell like rotten milk or a dumpster, and it's pretty bad. So it's always kind of frustrating. It's like all the homeless people, they're the worst because they don't take a bath at all. They don't clean their clothes. In my case, taking a bath every day, sometimes twice a day. I've had people tell me, well, you shouldn't wash your hair because it's bad for it. I wash my hair at least once a day. And as you can see, it's doing just fine. When you put as much lard and tallow on your body as I do, I think you can wash as much as you want and you have no issues. Okay, so what else do we have here? I absolutely anything scented. What is that noise? Oh, Amazon. I see the Amazon truck is across the street and they slam the door. I never order anything from Amazon. I don't know which ones I couldn't handle. I'm not stinky on Carnivore. I still wear deodorant to be safe. Okay. I'm in Los Angeles. Still see starving coyotes in the streets. Well, yeah, no kidding. My cat would be easy pickings. That's right. Chemicals basically. I use Willetta deodorant. It's very gentle. Rick, does mango pollen get your allergies going? No, I am not allergic to any plants, period. I'm not even allergic to poison ivy or poison wood. The only time I experience allergies is when I spend a lot of time indoors. When I spend time outdoors, I never have allergies. So that is kind of strange. Okay. Semi-tropical plus. Okay. One of those days and nobody stink. Okay, good. No eggs or dairy. Just lion only. You have no body smell. I've been on an all meat diet without eggs and dairy, and I still had smell to some extent. I think it is impossible, but that's a personal thing. If you don't work like I do, you're probably fine. Oh, that axe is the worst. It is horrible. I hate that stuff. It's just nasty. One of my daughters, darn female teachers, told the class that people who eat a lot of meat have a smell. And I've heard that too. No wonder they won't eat meat. And this is what a friend of mine used to say: when you eat meat, you stink like the cat's meow. And I said, but I don't believe that, you know. And I have a friend that started Carnivore in '98, and he was a bodybuilder, and he never smelled bad, and he stopped using the deodorant and the cologne because he said that the funny thing is, when he was not carnivore, the stuff didn't bother him, but he says that as soon as he turned carnivore, every time, because he'd been carnivore before, whenever he turned carnivore, the deodorant stick would turn his clothes a different color. He'd get like a kind of a brown or yellow color on his clothes. And also the cologne, he became allergic to it, which I thought was really interesting. I don't know if anyone else had that experience. That might be something else to look into, but that's okay. Um, let's see. Okay. I watch cooks on YouTube. You can see they eat lots of sugar. Yeah, carnivore look healthy. You can tell by their face. You see a lot of people, even the vegans. If you look at, for example, I'm trying to remember who that. Dr. Greger's a good one. If you look at their skin, you'll see they have these dark spots. See, now I have this under my eye. This is from an old injury. But the vegans, they tend to have this like uneven skin, and the older they get, the worse it gets. And I've seen a few of them like that. And I think a lot of times they use video filters, or you can't see it with the lighting. But the vegans I've seen in person look really bad. So I think that's part of it. Okay. But yeah, I've never noticed that the meat makes any kind of funny smell. I shower about 3 times a week. I don't smell and groom myself on Thursdays. Well, that's good, Jonathan. You live in a cooler climate, so you're probably not sweating all the time. I use beef tallow on my skin. That's all. That's what I use. Beef tallow and lard. Coconut oil and patchouli on fits works well. Interesting. I've used coconut oil before to make soap. It's good stuff. Wow, that's toxic. Yeah, toxic teacher, exactly. Meat. No allergies if outside often. Microbiome. Yeah, see, that's it. I don't have a problem with any plant material. That's it. Husband doesn't stink except for the feet. Now, that's the one thing I've never had an issue with. People talk about their feet smelling bad. Mine don't. I don't have that problem. But then again, I'm barefoot most of the time or wearing socks. My socks have holes in them. I don't understand why people's feet smell so bad. Thankfully, I've never had that experience. So that's a good thing. Okay, my sense of smell is way more. Yeah, mine is too. I think when you're on the carnivore diet, you become sensitive to certain toxins. I think that's what it is. Chemical perfumes make me nauseous. See, he walks with me. See, again, I think it's a carnivore thing. It's almost time for my third meal. Ugh. Well, Jonathan, when you got to eat, you got to eat. It takes a lot to keep that body in good condition and anabolic. I have to use, let's see, enzyme free baby laundry detergent. I wash my clothes with washing soda and soap. I've done a video on that before. I don't even buy detergent, and it seems to work pretty well. And the smell that I get out of my clothes is nothing. You don't smell anything. And that's one of those things. Let's see. It's probably shoe related as well. That's the other thing. I like to use leather shoes. I don't like using plastic shoes. I don't think he scrubs his feet. I don't scrub my feet either. I never wash them unless I get grease or something in it. Okay. Um, Rick, do you think your house smells from cooking meat? Yes, it does. I'm never bothered by the smell of meat. I do have a large kitchen. I love the smell of meat. It does smell like meat. I've had people tell me the vegans are the worst. My vegan friends won't enter the house because it says it smells like a barbecue pit. And yes, I do have the smell of meat in my house, but it's a lot better than the smell of vegetables. And the worst thing is seed oils. All the Cuban houses here, they smell of vegetable oil. And that really makes me sick because I hate seed oils. And I use it to run my truck, which is ironic, but I hate homes that smell like seed oils. I think that's one of the nastiest things out there. Okay. Let's see. House hippo has to potty. Well, you got to take your pet out. I've been very hungry since my surgery. Maybe my body needs more fuel. I think it does. I think it does. 10% more food, particularly protein post op. See, that's it. Jonathan knows. Rick, should I still like okay. It might be a picnic. It does smell a little bit like meat, I think. Sense of smell, taste, hearing, everything. Amplified eating line. I believe that's true. I believe that is true. And the other thing I've noticed when I was a kid, I was considered to be partially colorblind because I had a difficult time distinguishing between certain greens and browns. And as I got older, my color blindness went away, and I've been able to see colors a lot better. In fact, my eyesight's pretty good. For someone that's 56, I don't use glasses. I'm here looking at the chat. I look around. And one thing that you'll notice is that I don't sit close to computer monitors. I'm up against the wall. I can't even reach the monitor. See? It's further than arm's length. I don't like being close to screens. Also, if you notice in the background, I have the window, which is natural light. I have another window over here, which you can probably see, although it is covered by this old cabinet. I have my neon lights up top, which you've probably seen before. And so I perform best when I have daylight. This is one of the reasons I don't like these offices that are built without windows because it's just really bad. It doesn't help me. So let's see. You'll also notice that when I sit down, I don't use a gamer chair. A lot of the streamers, they use a gamer chair and they sit upright. I have found that sitting upright makes me feel tired. One of the reasons I didn't do good in school is because when I sit up straight, I lose interest. I can't, I just can't do it. Plus, I like to move my face around like this, to try to keep the nose feeling better. And I know that's one thing that people mention. But yeah, there's a lot of things that distinguish me from being like all the other carnivores. And I see some comments, sense of smell is better. Um, when you go grocery shopping, the fruit and veggies stink. It's funny. The vegetables don't really bother me. They just remind me of doing yard work. They don't really stink. It's like when I'm out in the yard. So they're pleasant to me. They don't bother me. The only thing I use is plant-based is laundry detergent. That's fine. American detergent is causing my daughter's skin issues. Wow. The shop I go to bake their own. Okay, that's a okay. Work very fast to the meat. Yes. Don't be tempted by baked goods. I buy it at Sprouts. There's actually a Sprouts down here. I've never been in there. Maybe I should make a video of going in there. I don't like the look of gamer chairs. I hate them. I think they're ugly. I really don't like chairs in general. So that's the reason why if I do a live stream, I'm going to relax next to the wall or I'm going to do it standing up. I'll be like Dr. Greger. Maybe I'll walk on a treadmill. I also like doing it from the bicycle. But yeah, I don't like chairs, believe it or not. And the bread, okay. Jonathan, that's kind of interesting. Rick and I do the same biohacks when streaming. You're right about that. Jonathan, he likes to use the red light on his eyes. Now, I don't use red light glasses, but I do something similar at night. I turn off all the fluorescent lights and I only have a few incandescent lights and I have my neon lights. So I'm actually getting red light therapy. And I think it's kind of interesting when I see all these people with these biohacks. This is stuff that I've done my whole life just naturally. And I never knew anything about biohacks. So, that's kind of a good thing. All right. Question just for fun. If you had to eat one processed food for the rest of your life, calories equated, what would it be? Potato chips, fried chicken, ice cream, pizza, chocolate. Well, when you say fried chicken, that's easy because if it's heart attack chicken, I'll do that. With normal fried chicken, I always used to peel off the crust and throw it to the ducks. Processed food, hmm. The only processed food I like is ground beef. Um, that's a good question. I hate pizza. I mean, and I hate potato chips. I hate potatoes in general. They make me sick. The only way I can eat potatoes is if they're deep fried in beef tallow. Then I'll eat them. But I don't like potato chips. Um, that's a good question. Jonathan has the best questions. That's why I like having him in my chat. I know he says that this is kind of like something he wants to do, to like almost like a therapy or something. But he gives so much to the chat. You really got me thinking. I'm gonna have to think about that because processed food to me always is equated with duck food. Um, I guess you know what I could say it would be processed food. I would say plantain chips. Now the problem is the store-bought plantain chips don't taste good because they're cooked in seed oils, and of course pork rinds are a processed food. I could eat that all day without a problem. But yeah, I would say plantain chips because I love plantain chips when they're fried in beef tallow or lard. So I would definitely go with plantain chips. Potatoes or roots, I don't like any roots. But Jonathan, because of your background, I'm sure potatoes, I mean, fish and chips in the UK is a big thing. And my version would be like snapper and plantain fries. That would be my equivalent of fish and chips. Jonathan would choose. Okay, let me see here. All right, what do we got here? Patchouli oil was my go-to. I know the hippies used to like that stuff. Night, morning, I'm off to sleep, Josephine. Well, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you were here. We have 46 likes. I don't have the most subscribers, but I have the best. When you talk about elite subscribers, this is where you find them. You're not going to find them in the tribes. You're not going to find them in the clubs. You're not going to find them in the gang. You're not going to find them in whatever. You're going to find them right here, the place where you get your carnivore fun for free and you get to meet the best people on YouTube. No holds barred, hands down, every time. All right, so let's see what we got here. Morning, I'm off to now. Do hold hot and cold showers. That's fine. And opening a window to the light and air is one of the easiest and best things someone could do. Yes. And you'll notice And it says also, other than drop the pastries. That's true. Rick and Jonathan live again soon? Well, that depends on when I'm not working and when Jonathan has the time. I appreciate every time I'm invited. I love being on his channel. He's my number one carnivore bodybuilder YouTuber. No exceptions. I would choose ice cream if I could choose any flavors. Okay. Otherwise, I would be some kind of potato product. I'm not even keen on that. Well, that's it. That's Jonathan. That's what you like. That's what you're used to. So that makes sense. I really like the smell of patchouli. It's antibacterial and antifungal too. You know, another thing that's antibacterial and antifungal, if you're not allergic to it, is Melaleuca oil. Melaleuca is a tree that grows here. It's invasive. They've been spending millions to get rid of it, but they sell it in the store. It's called tea tree oil. When my dad had his skin problem, it helped to some extent. Okay, we took a similar path. It's a case of, okay, Jonathan says, it's a case of what could I have that's a different flavor and not be bored of salted potato chips for 60 years. That's true. Quality over quantity is what Jonathan says. That is correct. That is correct. You're better off having less of the best stuff than more of the crap. If I could only eat one animal, it would be beef. I agree with that because you've got all the different steaks, T-bone, ribeye, yes. Plus all the other parts, heart and lungs and all the other good things, tongue, a lot of good stuff. And Jonathan says, hopefully on Tuesday around 4 p.m. Okay, good. If I'm here, sure. We love you, Rick. Well, thank you, Annabella. I'm glad somebody does because I know the ducks and iguanas don't, but that's okay. I'm off to Napa for some Mopar parts. I'll see you later. Well, Frugal Prepper, good for being here. Glad you're here. I'll check out the next time I see you online. Hopefully, they'll have the parts you need because Napa sometimes can be a challenge. I love the smell of jasmine. I have jasmine in my yard. I think it's kind of interesting too. There, okay, there are two other carnivore-ish bodybuilders. They both claim natty, but I can prove they aren't, of course. What would you think in my situation? I don't like liars. Well, Jonathan, there's people that think that Mike O'Hearn is natty, and we know he's not. I mean, come on. You are a bodybuilder. You are experienced. You know what's enhanced and you know what isn't. And you know what? I assume this is the way I assume it. I assume every pro level bodybuilder is enhanced unless proven otherwise. That's what I believe. So that's just that's what I feel. I'm not going to change my mind. You can tell me you're natty, and obviously I'm not a bodybuilder, but I've been around enough of them to know what is and what isn't. And the thing is, who cares? If you're using anabolic enhancements and it's working for you, that's good. I would rather see somebody on steroids than smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol. Because the thing is, when responsibly used, anabolic steroids, in my opinion, are a good thing. And they're in line with the heart attack diet. Because even if they did cause a heart attack, the time that you're alive and you're strong and healthy and you have that great physique, you're better off than someone who's sick and weak and frustrated. You know, I love it. I think it's a great thing. But I do believe that lying to people is doing them a disservice. You need to man up. And if you are enhanced, stop calling yourself natural because you are not. You're giving people false hope. The stupid government is over there trying to regulate this. This stuff should be fully legal. And I think that even young people, if they had the need for it, they should be allowed to use these products and be able to get medical supervision. Because I think in many ways, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. The drawbacks come from abuse, from using these things in a way that is not responsible, but it's like anything else. You know, you could kill yourself trying to do carpentry and cut your fingers off with a table saw. The trick is not to avoid these things, but the trick is to understand how they work and determine whether or not they are good for you. That's my theory. But then again, you know, I don't work out at this point. I'm not worried about becoming muscular. I joke with everybody. I said, if I wanted muscles, I would just date one. That's all. I wouldn't bother trying to make myself look that way because I feel good being skinny. Now, yes, I'd like to add some mass, and I definitely have plans in the future when I'm settled. I'm going to see if I could add maybe 10, 20 pounds. I don't know. If a 50 something or 60 something year old person could do that, that's fine. And I'm not opposed to using these other products. I mean, that's not something that I'm against. So that's been my stand, and I'm sticking to it. So let's see what else we got. I like frozen yogurt. Hey, if you like frozen yogurt, you can do it. Just don't put sugar in it. And there's nothing wrong with adding these other things to it. If you want to add fruit to it, go ahead. It's not going to hurt you if you're not there. Okay. Have you ever smelled jujube fruit? I actually have at Fairchild Gardens years ago. And you know what? I forgot about it. I'm gonna have to see if I can seek some out. Maybe I'll make a video on it. That's pretty good. Okay, and let's see what else. Melaleuca, yes, tea tree oil is amazing. See, Melaleuca, and it grows wild down here. That's another thing. I agree. We're all enhanced. See, and if the person isn't well, they look natural. Exactly. I like the smell of certain musk oils. Hey, people like different scents. And Mark Harmon, this is some good advice right here. And if you look at him, he looks pretty good. Basically, if you look like you are on gear, you probably are. And I say, if you look like you're on gear, you are on gear. This is it. But the thing is there anything wrong with being on gear? Depends on the person. If it's affecting you in a bad way, you're aggressive, you're becoming psychopathic or whatever, then it's a problem. But you would really have to be abusing yourself to do that. If you're doing it in a responsible way, what's the problem? I mean, what exactly is the problem? I think a lot of it is that the establishment doesn't want people to be strong and healthy. And for some people, putting on muscle may actually work to their advantage. Yes, there is a risk of an enlarged heart, there is a risk of getting a heart attack. It can happen. But the thing is, if you lose 5 years of your life, maybe 10 years of your life, but you avoided being weak and helpless. Instead of getting old in a nursing home, you died in your 60s or 70s strong. It would probably be worth it. What's the big deal? Do you really want to live another 10 years suffering? And I think a lot of times the people that I know that have used it, they put on significant muscle mass. And it actually helped them because now there's a point where people become body dysmorphic and they're never big enough, and that does happen. But I think for most people, when you make a modest amount of gains and you start to see the progress you can make, I think some people, I know if I was doing it, I could probably limit it. I wouldn't get to the point where I'd feel I'd have to be the biggest monster in the world. And I think a lot of it is just a bias. You have people out there that have mental issues that are using this as a way of managing it. And I think that's where um, the bad reputation comes from. So again, I'm not against it. I'm just saying that people, like Jonathan says, they shouldn't lie about it. They should own up to it and stop, even if you don't want to admit that you're enhanced, stop saying you're natural. Stop it, because you're just giving people false hope. All right, let's see. I like my first choice of meat is lamb over beef. See, everybody has their preferences, but enjoy some farm pork, quail, eggs, and seem to stop reactions. Well, there you go. Try what works for you. That's what I always say. Jonathan says, I think Rick has nailed it better than anyone. He doesn't come from an athletic background. That speaks volumes about his understanding of logical array. Yeah, exactly. I've had friends that are in those backgrounds. In fact, I was the nerdy kid, but I didn't have a lot of nerd friends. Most of my friends in high school were the jocks, the athletic guys. For some reason, they liked me. And I think it's because I was tall and skinny and fast. And I kind of got into what they were into, and to me, it just seemed like a great way to go. I'd rather be with those guys than with the nerdy guys that were over there snacking all the time and not taking care of themselves and spending all day indoors. I just don't understand why anybody would do that. At least with the athletic guys, and they were fun to be around because the other thing is that even though I'm skinny and sort of weak, I can outrun most of them. And the taller I got, the more that became an issue. So we'd have fun and do stuff. And the other thing too is that for a guy as skinny as I am, I have a strong grip, and I was always able to do things that were a little bit unusual. You know, I'm not the typical skinny guy. The nerdy guy with the nasal voice and the nerdy. Okay, I know that type. I'm not that extreme. Yes, I like technology. Yes, I'm a mad scientist. Yes, I did all kinds of home chemistry and electronics and all these other things. But on the other hand, I was not the shy, introverted type. I've always been somewhat outgoing when I'm around the right people. When I'm around the wrong people, I just keep my mouth shut. I don't care. But when I'm around people that I'm interested in, I can't shut up. Look at me on a live stream. 8 o'clock, it's already past 10:30, and I'm still blabbing away. I haven't taken a break. I haven't eaten, haven't drank anything. I just keep talking. That's just the way that I am. I get on the phone with my friends. I'll be there for hours, and I don't stop. So this is the difference between me and them. And I noticed that with the athletic, the jock type, those guys, they tended to be quiet until you started talking about their gains or working out or all that or diet. Then they don't stop. Then they keep talking. And that's what I like. So that's kind of where that comes from. Okay. Um, let's see. Quail eggs versus hen eggs. I do better. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Quail eggs. I know quail eggs are pretty good. I've had them before. Logical arguments. You both do a great live together. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Mandy. I'm glad you like us. Yeah, we have a mutual respect. That's right. I have known each other for a long time. Yes. Anything to say? Exactly. Yeah, Jonathan's right. How come duck eggs aren't in the egg aisle at the store? Why aren't there a thing? Because raising ducks is not what it used to be. In the past, like in Long Island, they used to raise ducks. I think there's only one duck farm left. Ducks are just not a thing. And as mentioned here, Annabella, ducks are, let's see, um, we would all be boring if we liked the same meat. That's true. Someone said here that ducks were seasonal, but I guess I must have lost it. Okay. Oh well. Um, yeah, duck eggs are largely seasonal. That's what Jonathan said, with many egg layers each year. Yeah, I just want geese eggs, but they lay about 1 or 2 months a year. That's true. That is very true. We would all be boring if we liked the same meat. That's right. And someone says, "Hi, Rick. You're awesome. Nice to see you live. I'm nice to have you here, as always." Question: do you think recent changes to the presidential status will be positive or negative in 4 years? I don't think it's really going to be an issue because the central bankers, the Federal Reserve, and all those people are still in place. No one is doing anything to change or reform them. I think what's going to happen, this presidential cycle will get some interest, but eventually they will start to downplay it. And I think everything will go back to the way it is within a couple of years. And then the end of the presidential cycle. That's before they come up with a false flag, which they will. It'll be a virus, it'll be a terrorist attack, it'll be something out there to distract the people so they can get them back onto the duck food and being in fear all the time, because that's the way that they actually control people. But I think there's going to be some interesting things happening now. And I think this is our chance for those of us that have issues that we want to bring out into the open. This is our chance to do it. But whatever you do, my advice is don't promote it as a solution. If you promote your lifestyle as a solution, they're going to use you as a scapegoat. So, what I like to do is just relate your experiences, give a little information, and sort of be the voice of reason. Don't be the emotional one that's out there pushing people to one direction or the other. Don't say, well, you have to go on the carnivore diet because it's a proper human diet and this and that and blah, blah. No, don't say that. You just say, maybe you might want to try adding some more whole food meat based to your diet, or maybe go outside once in a while, and so on. Okay. My oldest son yesterday waiting for voting for Trump. Mom, I'm getting laid off. See what I mean? They're going to blame him for that. It's not his fault. It's the fault of a broken system. Okay. Did you do the Briggs Myers test? Yes, I did. But you know what? I forgot what it was. I have to admit, I lost interest. I'll have to do that again. Jonathan was the one that had me take it. And I think I sent him the results, but then I forgot about it. I don't really take things too seriously, but they do have value. I love duck hen eggs, but react, even without whites. So, yes, some people do react to eggs. So, you really have to be careful when you're eating eggs. And again, like I tell everyone, try something. If it doesn't agree with you, don't keep eating it. Move on to something else. And your body can change. So, when you've been on the carnivore diet for a period of time, you may be able to eat some foods that were otherwise affecting you. So, but be flexible when it comes to eating. Okay. I got some before. Actually bought century eggs. Those fermented eggs are interesting. I think I ate one once. It didn't taste very good, but it didn't make me sick, so that's okay. Rick's ducks easy to buy here. Shame I can't tolerate them. Well, you do what you can, right? I've had a lot of fun tonight. It cheered me up. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. I'm glad that my channel with the original carnivore quack, and it's like I tell everyone, when you go to the duck pond or the canal and you look at the ducks wagging their tails and doing their thing, it's hard not to smile because ducks are funny. I think they were put here to keep us in a good mood. They're really funny. It's just a riot when you see these fanatics, these Karens over there. They walk out and they're horrified because they see duck poop on the sidewalk and they lose their mind. So it is kind of funny. I said, look, buy a garden hose. That's all you need. Okay. Yeah. Okay. My wife is Filipino and fermented duck eggs a delicacy. Yeah, that's right. They call it balut. Whatever. But yeah. Nasty. Yeah. Balut. It's actually Balut. I don't think there's any E at the end of it, but that's fine. I never use the phrase proper human diet. See, I encourage people to eat meat. That's what I have against the Dr. Barry channel, which is sort of like a cult in itself. I never really watch it. I don't comment on it. For a while, I think it was subscribers only. I could care less about Dr. Barry's channel. There's just too many people there. I just get away from it. I've seen balut on cooking shows so great. Yeah, it's just basically undeveloped duckling. I don't know how people like to eat it, but they do like it. I get some from the farm shop. I'll try and find Rick's results. There you go. My daughter is Filipino. Okay. Yeah, they like that stuff. Just a ton of body modification like piercings, implants, tattoos. Your body, your choice. Yeah. I don't like the tattoos either myself. The piercings, I don't understand it. But I have no problem with the gear. And again, it's a combination of things. You don't just inject and grow the muscle, you have to do the work. But it's just an enhancement, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It does not bother me. NJ who thought himself out of thinking with meditation. Oh, good. Now at peace. You can change your type, I think. My son burns out thinking social sharing, his autistic brain never stops. He's super intelligent. And I think a lot of times, there it is. Okay, Jonathan found the results. These are Rick's results if he doesn't mind. No, that's fine. Okay. There you go. So it's all there if you want to see it. And confident individualism. That sounds about right. So whatever that's worth, now you have it and you can see it. That's one of the benefits of being here. I just love feeding ducks as a little girl teenager at the park. I don't get to see many ducks where I live. Ducks, kids love ducks. And I think a lot of times kids, we kind of know what we like. We hate vegetables. We like animals. That's kind of our thing. Duck poop is modest compared to Canadian geese. They have German Shepherd side droppings. Well, I got news for you. Muscovy duck has a lot of poop as well. Not as much as the geese, but somewhere between ducks and geese. But duck poop is actually the fertilizer for my bananas. And if you look at my banana plants, they are starting to decline. You can see they're not as healthy as they used to be because the ducks were gone. Now that the ducks have returned, I think they're going to regrow. And it's very important. I show it to my vegan friend. He says, "Oh, your bananas are not as big as they were." I said, "Well, I don't like talking about big bananas around vegan girls." But anyway, that's a silly joke. But yeah, there you can see, I'm looking at them right now. They tend to be skinnier and less leafy. They don't look as good. And that's because the ducks left. So it's very important to mix the animal agriculture with the plant agriculture. I don't think you can have one without the other without a lot of chemistry. The ducks also eat the insects. My tomato garden is lost. The bugs and the diseases destroyed all my tomatoes. They're all dead. And that's because the ducks are no longer around. So it goes to prove that it's really something that you have to think about because plant-based agriculture is not possible without a lot of chemistry. All right. I know an J. Okay, we're talking about personality types here. And let's see. Andy, I'm quite similar. I'm good at masking, but if I ever overdo it by even half an hour, I'm wiped out for 2 days. It's frustrating. Yes, Jonathan's right about that. I heard about the 50s and 60s, 70s. You could buy different breeds of chickens. Yes. Now the breed of chicken isn't mentioned. Have you heard this? Yes, I have. When you go to the feed store, and by the way, they closed our feed store, so you'd have to go down to Homestead. They really only have a couple of different chicken breeds. But if you want to get a wide variety of chicken breeds, that's what the parking lot is for. There's chickens running all around the neighborhood here. So if you want to get some heritage chickens, all you need is a chicken trap and get yourself a rooster and hen, and you'll have something really good. I'm going to try when I get my own place that I can have chickens because here they're illegal. I'm going to set up a hen house. I'm going to mix wild and domestic chickens and see what I get. The wild chickens don't seem to get the bird flu. That doesn't seem to kill them. But a lot of the domestic chickens that are bred for egg and meat production, they're very susceptible to the bird flu. And this is one of the reasons why it's so hard to get, the eggs and chicken. Rick is the same personality type as me, says Jonathan. Yet you put us into a room and you would think we are two different people. That is correct. We used to feed fish in our dam when I was a teenager. A lot of happy memories feeding the fish. Humans love to feed animals. It's just something that we're designed that way. We feed them and they feed us. Okay, Annabella, what do you think of my limitation of my study? Objections toward the wording. P.S. I have no tattoos. Yes, Jonathan does not have tattoos and piercings, and that's another thing that I think adds to his appeal, at least to me. I used to buy feeder fish from the aquarium store, and I wouldn't keep them. Wasn't allowed proper pets. Yeah, that's it. People would put them into the lake or the canal around here. You're so down there, Jonathan. That's good. Question, Rick. If you get a chance, I recommend the channel Google Foods. I've seen him, the fat guy. Yeah, they cook up a crap ton of steaks with different methods. I saw one where him and his guys were cooking up chicken in different methods, and then they had like sous vide steak and they had barbecued steak, and they were doing ways of frying with vegetable oil and lard and tallow and all that. I've seen that. I haven't watched his channel in a while, and I believe he's also here in Miami. I tried to contact him, but like all of the local YouTubers, they never, people don't like to contact you in person. So I lost interest in his channel. Maybe I'll check at it again, But yeah, I do remember seeing that. And let's see. I don't see what you wrote, just what Rick said. Okay. Saw snake hunters on TV refer to iguanas as being zombified at night. Easier to catch. No, the iguanas typically go into their burrows or they go up in a tree. They're hard to catch. And, every time I've tried to get one at night, they run away. So it's okay. Here we go. Target rhyme rim. Thomas is back. Did I miss anything? Nah, it's just me, the old quack. Always here. I love watching Guga. Yeah, that's true. I think setting clear boundaries is important. Guga has lost a lot of weight. Oh, well, I haven't seen him in a long time, so I'll have to check that out and see. I appreciate your kind words. No tattoos here either. Yes, I'm going to be the last person on earth without a tattoo. Well, that's good for you because I don't like tattoos. Again, some people have them. They like them. That's fine. But if I had a girlfriend, I wouldn't want her to have tattoos. Hey, if I was even one of those guys with a boyfriend, I wouldn't want to have tattoos. It's like putting graffiti. It's like if you have a classic car and you've got it all nicely restored, then you spray graffiti all over it. I don't see the point, It's crazy. But that's fine. Okay. The guys on Google's channel think it's eating steak's unhealthy. Yeah, those guys think that steak is unhealthy. It's quite funny. It's just the word risk. She's a cause. Yeah, somebody's been watching Barkay's channel. Economics, hygiene. Yep. How old are you, CV? I have enough sodding scars to not want a tattoo. Yeah, well, you've been worked on so many times by the medical system. I'm a muscle with spoons. Okay. I have no tattoos, only on my t-shirts. There you go. 44. Young one here. I have freckles, which is nature's tattoos. That's true. I got a couple of redhead friends that look like that. No tattoos. You don't put a bumper sticker on a Lamborghini. I like that. Of course, Lamborghini is a piece of junk, but I wouldn't even put a bumper sticker on a 69 Charger. And they have a chrome bumper, so I still wouldn't do it. I don't see the point of it. I don't have a bumper sticker on anything I own. Although I thought about making one, like something quirky, but that's all right. Carnivore muscle, okay. Absolutely, he is 25 and not mixed much with the chaos. Okay. I have 2 ear piercings. That's typical for women, though. There's nothing unusual about that. They can't they can't tattoo through steel. You're a cyborg. There you go. I found tattoos boring because everyone has them now. Like I said, I like the 1950s aesthetic, and back then it was only people that, there were sort of the, I don't know, outliers that had the tattoos. Maybe they were in the military, they had a tattoo or something like that, or maybe they're Popeye the Sailor Man. That's about it. So tattoos were more of a carnival kind of thing. It was something you saw at the circus. Now it's just everywhere. There's actually a tattoo studio around the corner from me when I go to Presidente. It's called Inkaholic. It's spelled some weird way. And I always see them out there. A lot of them have piercings. Some of these guys have this hole in their ear and nose rings and all that stuff. You know, some people like it. And hey, if it's fun for you, that's it. But you know, not for me. That's not my thing. I'm more of that mid-century aesthetic. You can see by my hairstyle, clothing, and all that. I don't even wear t-shirts with sayings on them. I only wear white or black t-shirts. I don't wear any clothing with any name or logo or anything. That's why I've been accused of being Amish or Mennonite. But I'm not. I don't have a beard. I don't have facial hair now. I actually think that's something good. Um, I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of it, but I think that most guys should have facial hair because it kind of distinguishes you from the women out there, which is a good thing. But that's a personal choice. I have no problem with it. Most of my friends have facial hair. I think all of them do. I don't think I have any friends that are clean shaven. Hmm. I'm the only exception. So, and I've grown it before. I may do it again, but it just gets so thick and it's kind of annoying. And then, if I was Amish, I would have it just from here down. That would be funny. I'll get a hat and just grow it all the way down. I don't know. But again, it's that 50s aesthetic because it was really only like the beatniks that had the facial hair and it was usually like a little bit in the front. But yeah, but that's an aesthetic thing. That's just a personal taste. You do whatever you want. Yeah, see, it says here usually it was the military or prison people that had tattoos. There you go. I have a private sensory deprivation in my bedroom. Yeah, see, that's it. See, Jonathan has to go into a place to get away from all the visual stimulation because the autism, you can't overload it. Okay, there's a good one. Okay, to be fair, I feel like I have a funny Lego sticking out of my rear end most days. Okay, I am back from the hippo walk. Rick, okay, Annabella says, do you like Cary Grant? I love the old movies. Yeah, I remember some of his movies. I used to love those old movies. They'd put them on Channel 6. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I always liked that 50s, 60s kind of movie aesthetic. If I was going to make a carnivore channel, I'd like to bring some of that into it. That's for sure. I got my ears pierced in my 20s, but you guessed it, keep getting infected. Yeah, see? Finally gave up. That's it. Maybe a Nixon Agnew bumper sticker on the 68 Charger. Oh, that'd be funny. That's a good one. Let's see. I missed your greetings. Okay. Hey, Rick, do you believe we should eat more fat than anything else? No, I don't believe that. I think protein is very important. I think that as long as you eat meat in its more natural form, you're getting the proper ratio of fat. I see no reason in adding more fat. Now, this is from someone who makes heart attack chicken, but the amount of fat that's actually added to the chicken is minimal because I notice that when I cook with the lard and I pour it back into the container, it only goes down a tiny little bit. Now, I've never measured it, but what I have noticed is as the lard gets more used, more of the fat is lost. So when the lard is fresh, it comes back almost the same as it goes in. I think that adding more fat is unnecessary. And I know Carrie sometimes talks about fativore or whatever. I don't think that's necessary. You're overcomplicating it. I think you should just eat the meat the way it comes out and enjoy it. It's fun. It's tasty. That's the way I like it. Okay, Jonathan, I know you've overcame a lot of issues. Yes, that's right. That's why Jonathan has so much respect from me. I think he's just an amazing part of the carnivore community. It really is kind of a shame that he's not more well known. That's why I try to promote him the most that I can. You don't see him on a lot of the popular channels. Now he has been, I know he was on the Homestead Hal channel before, but a lot of the carnivore channels, I think they tend to concentrate on the people who are more popular, the ones that have had the drastic weight loss, or the ones that are successful. They have all their clubs and their subscribers and all that. And I think that's what's happening. So they're always looking for people that they can use to inspire others to join their carnivore group. I think that's what it really comes down to. Annabelle, I used to have hair down to my hips. Wow, I wrapped my hair around my face. I appreciate that, CV. I promise you guys only see about 10% true suffering. This is another reason I don't like to bother Jonathan. I let him do his thing because I know he's got a lot of challenges. Sailors, too. Yeah, tattoos. That's it. Guys who are tattooed from their neck to their feet. See? Was that on his room? He's okay. I bought a Ronald Coleman DVD. Okay, yeah, I remember Ronnie Coleman. I heard, he had a really hard time later on. I know he was into bodybuilding big time, but I don't know. Maybe that's a different one. My uncle was Navy. He had a shark tat on his forearm. Yeah, that was common. I do better when I eat more fat, feel better, CV. I agree with you, Rick. Thank you. That's good, Michael. I appreciate that. Morning, Rick, Milton, and fellow carnies. Milton, some reason, fell asleep on the couch, and he's not coming in here. Let's see. Carnivore Muscle. Followed you. Yes. Kiwi Carnivac. Wait a minute, Rick. You're a carnivore? Joke. Yeah, right. Good morning. You can tell someone spent time in jail by the homemade tattoos. Nothing to do in jail. Exactly. Yes, Rick. We'll keep it simple, stupid. Exactly. Don't make it complicated. It's easy. Rick, try to get juiced up monster truck with toxicity. Ah, well, I've thought about it. I actually thought of building one of those tank trucks they used to have back in the 80s where they took like an M6 tank and they put a truck body on it. I thought that would be funny. And I'd park that in the front of my yard. And then that would be like, my address attached to it. A lifetime supply of Winn Dixie coupons stacked up underneath Milton, who was the seat. Oh, that's funny. Seat belted in the front. Oh, that's funny. This is my first live with you, Rick. Love your demeanor, calmness in the tone of your voice. Great work. Well, what you're seeing here is the real me. Anyone that knows me, they say, Rick, I've never seen you get mad. I said, you don't want to see me get mad because it's going to make the news. It's very rare that I get upset. It happens, but not like other people. I ride with other people and they're mad because somebody cut them off in the road. They're tooting the horn. They're putting on their brakes. I'm like, oh, great. No wonder we have so much road rage. When I drive, it's different. I'm going down the road and I might be listening to Spanky and Our Gang or some classical music. I think I was listening to Tchaikovsky one time, and these people got into a road rage, and one ran into the other. They ran the other one off the road, and I was in my truck, and I went up on the sidewalk. I went around them, through a couple of bushes, came out the other side, and kept driving. I think I was listening to Swan Lake or something like that. So yeah, I live in a place where people are always on edge, and I'm not like that. Okay, Lori, I listened to you sing. Oh yes. Oh wow. Linda Rodstead. Oh, I gotta see that. That's interesting. Thanks, Mandy. Have an autism playlist. Yes. Check out Jonathan's autism playlist. Milton is suffering from the meat sweats. Poor Milton sleeping on the couch. Okay. Ronald Coleman was a gentleman actor. Okay, different one then. He was one of the most popular handsome leads. Okay. He was in a movie with a young Cara Grant. I have to check that out. Speaking of performance enhancers, prior to Carnivore, I was in testosterone shots. Wow. Whole vials of it. Huh. Amazing. Someone that young on testosterone shots. Rick, do you have a preference on cat color? My last cat was white. She was comfy as hell. 20 years of bites and scratches. Are black cats more mellow and just eat water? My favorite cat has always been the orange cat, like my cat Garfield. I got to make a video on Garfield. I got some pictures of him. I may have a video. He lived 21 years. He was up to 20 pounds. He was the strongest cat I've ever met. He was the only cat I know that took out a pit bull and a Doberman. This cat was like half the size of a bobcat and twice as fast. I love orange cats. They're my favorite. Number two, black cats. The first cat I ever had was a black cat, and I called him Harry the cat because it was from a commercial. And he was the most loyal cat I ever had. He lived to 18 years. He was the only cat that ever stood up for me. There was a bully that used to bother me when I was a kid, and he attacked this bully. This bully was trying to beat me up, and he had me pinned down. And my cat Harry jumped on his back, and scratched his eyes. And this kid freaked out and ran away. And the parents had the nerve to come over here and tell my parents that they wanted to sue them because my cat attacked him. But then my dad realized that, their son was attacking me in my own yard. It's like, he got no right to do that. And he got a pretty bad eye infection too. My black cat Harry was a beast. And little what's his name? Garfield. That was another sweetheart cat. And he was funny because he was a fraidy cat most of the time, but a lot of times when he was with me, he would act tough. So if another animal was coming up, he would run. But then if he was with me, he'd stand next to me, go, he'd show his teeth and puff up and look real mean. And I'll never forget, my neighbor was walking her little Chihuahua dog, the little thing, and he would always run from that little Chihuahua dog. But when I was out there, he comes running up next to me, stands next to me, nice and proud on his front paws, and he goes, and that little Chihuahua was, and runs. It was so funny. I wish I would have had a video. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's so cute. Animals do the funniest things, and I love it. Anyway, so what do we have here? I do like Swan Lake. Yeah, I do too. Were you ever allergic to any cats or dogs? I was never allergic to any cats or dogs. I love tortoiseshell cats. My first cat, my mom's cat when I was a kid, was a tortoiseshell, but that thing was a beast. It was mean and it hated me. They called it Smokey. I got some pictures of it here too somewhere. I was thinking my next cat would be orange. They're great cats. What kind of thing would make you show your anger? When I'm in a desperate situation, when someone's trying to take advantage of me and I don't have any other options, I will show anger. If somebody broke into my house and was trying to get me, I would blow his head off for sure. I mean, I do keep a weapon handy. I'm not going to show it on camera, but there's always something here. Even on the very basics, this is YouTube friendly. These are always handy. You can see it's covered in dust, but if somebody comes around here and I don't know who it is, I mean, I'm not going to hold back. And my house is full of junk. I could push things over. I could have somebody knocked out on the ground. I beat them with this thing until I know they're not going to come back. So, when I feel desperate, when I'm in a situation that I have no other options, then I will show my anger. But if I have a way out, it's like the Bible says, if someone slaps you, turn the other cheek. I will run away if I can. But let's say, okay, now I have taken my aggression out on animals. I was riding my bike one time and I had a very angry dog come at me and I stopped and I used the bicycle as a defense mechanism. So I held the bike sideways and I nudged him with the bike. And when he tried to bite me, I had the kickstand standing out and I impaled him with the kickstand. There was a lot of blood. It was pretty bad. And when the dog owner was over there trying to get me, I was ready to get him back. But this was years ago, and I don't know whatever happened to the dog. I mean, they did take it to the vet, but yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't like seeing animals attacking other animals and stuff like that. So there are times when I will get mad, but as long as I have the option to get away, that's what I will do. I will try to avoid the situation. There's a scripture that even mentions that the man sees the danger coming and avoids it is the wise one. And that's the way I feel. I try to avoid the danger. When people are trying to be combative and be sort of rude and aggressive, I try to not participate. I will avoid the situation. I try to use comedy as a way to try and diffuse situations. I've had to get between other people that I know that are arguing, and I try to use humor, and it usually works. But when you get to the point where you have no other options, then you have, you know, what option do you have? And thankfully, here in Florida, we are allowed to carry some additional hardware to protect ourselves, and that is a good thing. And I tell people, think twice because the person that you may be picking on may be packing. So it's something that you really need to to think about. And think about it. If you're one of those people that says you're Christian and you're godly and all that, just remember that somebody's is looking down on you, and the way that you act is going to be important. But even if you don't believe that, I think it's important that everyone at least use common sense. If you can avoid an issue, there's no reason to get angry. Now, I've had times where a piece of equipment fails on me and I just can't take it anymore. You know, that's the thing. So, what are you going to do? All right. Now, let's see. We got a lot more comments here. Look at that. Pennsylvania bobcat. Okay. There's some interesting cats out there. I'm just the same with the vendors when buying burgers. Why doesn't it look like the ad? Yeah, okay. Let me go through these comments here. When my mom lived in Cyprus, she had around 12 house cats. Wow. Yep. The feral cats, cats tend to breed. You can get a lot of cats there. Alex, I do the same. Apex, okay. Uh, that dusty bat is an indicator of your snotty nose. The dust in my house is not so bad. I have a lot more problems when I'm in other places. Come to my property or house unannounced. Let's say I welcome that 20 gauge. There you go. Well, that's pretty much what I have. There's a space between the bed, and I think that using a shotgun is not only good for hunting, but it's also good indoors because you're less likely to have lead ricocheting all over. And when you have concrete walls like I do, you need to be careful. Now, no one's ever tried to break in my house. I think that being poor and junky is a good deterrent because what are you going to get here? You're not going to take any money. I don't have any money laying around. Yeah, there's money in the safe, but you're going to have to take that thing out of the house. The stupid thing won't even fit through the door. The only way to get the safe out of there is the way I got it in, and that's when the door frame was removed. So you'll have to break the wall to get the safe out, and then you got to get the safe open. The thing is full of asbestos. It's a Mosler safe from the 40s. And what's the point? By the time that you get to the few $100s that's in the safe, you're probably going to be, well, you'll probably die in an avalanche because there's a bunch of junk in there. And if I happen to be home, you're not going to do so well. You're going to have a few seconds to leave. And if you don't leave, you're going to be leaving probably in a bag. So that's not ideal situation. We have a Milton here, Rick, 12-year-old we had. Yeah. Her son, yeah, she's still. Let's see, them black cats are awesome. That guy attacked me when I kicked his dog when it was trying his best to bite me. Well, that's it. That's why you got to be armed. That's like I tell people. If your dog tries to bite me, it's going to meet my foot one way or the other, or whatever I happen to be carrying. I've had to use a pipe wrench on a dog before. I was doing a plumbing job, but as soon as I took a swing at him, he ran away. So he was pretty smart. A pipe wrench up against a dog's jaw, I don't think he's going to do too well. I mean, what option do you have? When you have an animal coming at you, you can't outrun them. You have to bluff them. You have to stand up straight and use whatever weapon you have. That's all you can do. A shovel is very effective. I found shovels to be the most effective anti-dog weapon because not only can you discourage them with the shovel, but you can also use the shovel to impale them. And that's the thing. You got to hit them as hard as possible. I don't care what the animal is. And if the owner comes around, that's what the other piece of hardware is for. And I tell dog owners, please keep your dog on a leash. Don't let them run around. They may be friendly, but if they turn bad, things can get really bad. And I know someone that had a major lawsuit because he was walking his dog, got into a fight with another dog. When the owner tried to break it up, she got bit, and it turned into an insurance nightmare. A lot of money went into that, all because of being irresponsible with your animal. This is one of the reasons I keep my cat indoors. Even though a cat is not a threat to anyone, I don't want to have problems. I keep my cat under supervision at all times. We had a kitty attack me. Yeah, they do attack sometimes. When I Okay, now the guy attacked me. Somebody said a kitty attacked me. Okay, that's interesting. We had a kitty. We have air rifles over here. They're effective. Yeah, they are, because you can't have firearms there. It's better than nothing. They're also good for getting iguanas. I stayed longer than normal. It was worth it. Well, thank you very much. Okay, if you kick my dog, I'd have you arrested. If your dog is on my property and it's attacking me, it'll be lucky if it only gets kicked. It may end up blown to bits. Are you 6'6"? Yes, I am. I am 6'6". Good night, Annabella. Everyone is packing. That's right. South Carolina. That's right. Love you guys. I would seriously mess up anyone who interfered with my dog George. He will only harm those that harm, yeah, me or him. When I walk him, he stands right on me, on my feet. My cat does that too. That's the funny thing. We are on an open carry state. Yep. Here it knows. Yep, that's it. I don't know if I would like, I mean, they're supposed to make open carry again in Florida. It used to be when I was a kid. Then they changed it. I would probably conceal it because it's better to know, to not know where it is. Because when they try to attack you, hopefully they won't grab yours and use it on you. Okay, here it is. Just walk away. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. Romans 12:19. That's what I'm referring to. That's right. You were too excited with that. Well, it's just bringing back memories. I just don't like vicious animals. When I see vicious animals attacking me, I don't like that. Getting bitten is not my thing. That's strange law with fake pistols. Have a specific color. Yeah, like pink. That's because in the old days, us kids, they used to have toy guns. It was common when I was a kid. But in the 1990s, they got rid of that because they were afraid that people were going to bring a real gun. And that's what it is. But it was very common. We even had what they called the shoot and shell pistol. It was a cap gun. It shot plastic bullets, and you could shoot at targets. It was called the Mattel shoot and shell pistol. And I had one of those that I got from a yard sale. They were a lot of fun. And of course, the BB gun. I broke my BB. I broke so many BB guns. It's not funny. But yeah, BB guns were fun. There's just so many things that were out there. But now it's a different world, I guess. Oh, what else do we have here? Let's see. We have a strange law with fake pistols. Yeah, okay, I saw that. I had to hit a dog with a shovel, yes, to protect my dog. See? It wasn't fun. I made his nose bleed and felt bad. Yeah, well, that's it. But he was vicious. You have to do it because the thing is, if you don't, then your dog's the one that's going to be hurt. And it's like if I saw a dog attacking my cat, that dog would be dead. He wouldn't, he hurts my cat, he's dead. He's done. Because I don't like seeing big animals take advantage of little ones. It's just one of those things. Let's see. No, it's a good reason to keep your shovel sharp. By the way, I've actually used the shovel to kill an iguana, which I cook for dinner. So that works out quite well too. Group of neighbors, we were unable to pry a pit bull from mauling a Jack Russell. Yeah, see, someone came with a gun and stopped it. That's it. Sometimes you have to use the superior force. Keto's simple. You all talk longer than me. Yes, we do, because I've been a carnivore longer than anybody else. I don't shut up. And Dustin is here. We're glad that you're here. I'm sure I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning because he has a live on Sunday morning. I think it starts at 7:30. I turn on my computer when I get up, and there he is. So yeah, that's just fine with me. So let's see. Outside cats are a test. Okay. Tend to mice, squirrels. Yeah, that's right. And small creatures. That is correct. Birds, especially. Oops, damn spell check. Yeah, that's the problem. I think sometimes I read through it even with the spell check, but outside cats are a very, very common predator. Anyway, now we have been here for 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 59 seconds. Why do I do this so long? It's very simple because I only do one live a week. I do not have the time to do it every day. If I was retired, maybe I could do it every day, but I'm not. And even if I'm taking a day off, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I specifically selected Saturday morning because it was the only time that I was able to guarantee that I'd be here. And let's see. Bye, all. Helen. Bye. Okay. Jonathan has a question. Hypothetical. All of your meat sources have started putting additional chemicals and over into your meat. What would it take for you to assemble all efforts towards making your own farm? Well, I'm trying to do it now, actually. I'm just waiting until this ridiculous real estate bubble finally. Oh, I got no mail today. I'm waiting until this real estate bubble finally calms down. It's starting to show signs of cracking. Now, I do own a little 5-acre piece of land upstate, but I have a friend that lives in North Florida. I'm hoping by this year, once I get my truck where it actually is reliable, I'm going to start making some road trips and I'm going to start looking. I'm trying to get rid of as much junk as I can, get this place ready where I can sell it. And eventually, I would like to have, at the very least, I'm not going to probably, I mean, I might, but if I do get a property, it's probably going to be in a lot of distress. So I won't be able to have a farm or ranch immediately. But what I'm thinking about doing is at least having a place where I can have animals, and I will have a hen house and a duck house and probably some other things. I may even experiment with goats or small ruminants that I could use. Like, for example, if I built on my 5-acre lot, I might try sheep or goats because they're smaller, they don't need as much space. And then eventually, I'm going to get with the ranchers. And I think because of the skills that I have, the abilities that I can do things, I can do all kinds of repairs and construction, so on. I will make friends and contacts with ranchers. I may be doing fence work, who knows? And I will find out where I can get a whole steer or cow and just buy the whole animal. And then what I'll do, I'll bring it home and I can finish it the way I want. So I may get one or two. And then what I'll do, I'll have some tropical fruit or I'll have some elephant grass or the stuff we used to do when I was a kid in Miami. So I can fatten up my animal so that it gets a nice fatty meat. And it's not going to be with grains. I'm not going to use corn with all the glyphosate. I'm going to use elephant grass, sugar cane, tropical fruits, and all that stuff. Because wherever I live, I'm going to have my bananas and avocados and citrus and all that other stuff if it's here in Florida. Now, if I move to another state, I may have to use apples or peaches or whatever. But I am going to do that. And my ultimate goal will be, instead of going to the store and buying meat, I'm going to just stop going to the grocery store entirely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find somebody that has a dairy where I can get the milk that I need, try to get it raw, unpasteurized from the source, and then I can process the milk myself. I can make yogurt and cheese and have all the dairy that I need. And then I'm also going to have maybe, whatever animals I can get. I will install a cooler. You can buy those things for next to nothing from a restaurant. Most restaurants have a large cooler, and then I'll put in, a hoist, chain hoist or whatever, so that when I process my animals, I can simply bring them over by the cooler and have maybe a overhang sticking out where I can do the processing, and then I will cut the sides of beef and the organs and all that and separate it out and put it into the cooler. And then whenever I need, because I prefer fresh meat over aged, and then what I'll do, I'll go ahead and just start sectioning up the meat into different cuts, and I'll vacuum seal it, put it into the freezer, and that'll give me a lot of meat that I can use when I need it. And if I do have any plant foods that I want to give somebody, they'll be growing all around my place wherever I need them. And I'll have my chickens for eggs and my ducks. So I'll have a variety of meats. I can have whatever it is, goats. But again, definitely I will be buying cattle. Now, if I did have a ranch myself and I was managing, then I would raise cattle. That's one thing. But I think that even if I didn't have enough space to have a ranch, I could buy the whole cow, bring it home. I'll put it on a trailer or put two of them on a trailer, bring them home. And then for a few weeks or months, keep fattening them up until it's time to process. And then one day when the time is right, it's lights out, just like it is with my ducks. And then not only that will I get all that delicious meat and all that extra fat, I'm also going to have all that hide to work with, all that leather. And I've made my own shoes before. I would like to make my own shoes again. Maybe make some other furniture and stuff like that from leather because I love natural materials. I'd like to make another leather sectional couch, but not that cheap stuff they sell in the store that's real thin and flimsy, but the good stuff. Instead of using foam, I use springs like the old, what was that furniture? Herman Miller furniture they had, or in the 1930s, they had that old furniture. So I'm thinking about something like that. So what I'm thinking about is using the cow, using whatever animal it has to be in a complete way. And then there's no waste. You know, you're boiling bones to make bone broth, collagen, all this other stuff. And in the end, whatever leftover materials you give to your pets, it all goes back into the ground. It grows more grass, it grows fruits and vegetables, and everything goes back around. It's all recycled. There's zero waste. And I'll be the one person that they don't have to be shipping in fruits and vegetables and even meats. There's my carbon footprint, as they call it, will be zero. It'll probably be negative, even though you'll see me going down the road in my 69 Charger with the 440, or you'll see me in my diesel truck burning seed oils, or my wood gas truck. You'll never see me in a Prius. You won't see me in a Tesla. It's not going to happen. I'm always going to be, as long as I'm allowed to, and I don't have to fight my way out of it, I would have a coal powered truck that runs on coal gas. But definitely would use seed oils, whatever. That's what I would do. So, and like Jonathan said, I'll be the one with the monster truck. You can have your Teslas and you can have your Rivian or whatever else. I'll have my diesel monster truck. But in the end, I'm going to be the one that's better for the environment than anybody else because I'm recycling everything and I'm eating a natural diet and I'm not going to the hospital. When my time comes, they're not going to take me to the hospital. They're going to take me straight to the morgue because I'm going to have a massive heart attack. And thing is just, I'm going to drop dead and that's going to be it. You'll see me out there running after a duck, chicken, or iguana. And all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, poof, fall on the ground. And that's it. It's over. Oh, let's get the ambulance. Nah, better get the hearse. And that's it. Hey, in an ideal world, I'd be buried in the ground where I fell down, and that'd be it. There'd be no funeral. We'll cut them out of the equation too. Every one of these people that provide services is basically a scammer, in my opinion. All right, so what else do we have here? Okay, we've got a lot of comments. I got 41 people, so we're starting to decrease. It's probably a good time to wind up the stream. What time do we have? We have 3 hours and 22 minutes. So it must be, let's see what time it is. It is 11:22. It's getting close to the time where I'm going to start cooking my heart attack chicken. So let's see what we have here in terms of comments. It's time to get out of my chair. My butt is numb. Yes, you should. Feel like I'm dying. I have to go back to bed. Okay. Well, I hope you're going to feel better, CP Carmack. That flu thing will ruin you. Don't feel bad about taking time off. In a few days, you'll feel better. If you're like me, when you get the flu, it takes you 2 to 3 days and you're back to normal. That's my thing. Okay, we got our cat lived indoors. All right, what else we got here? A dressed out cow will feed you for a year. Well, it may feed me for half a year the way that I eat, but we'll see. I'd like to try it and see. But can you imagine? You cut out so many needless jobs. You don't need any meat packers. You don't need people picking vegetables. If everybody was like me, well, they'd probably be all out of business. That's the only thing, but it'd be kind of nice. Now, you'd still have these people because some people like to live in the city. But for those of us that want to live in the country, I think we could actually we could take a load off because nobody wants these jobs. I mean, nobody wants to pick vegetables. How many of you would go out there in the hot sun and pick vegetables to get paid not that much money? Would you do it? I wouldn't. So why would I force somebody else to do a job I won't do? It's like even bananas. I will never buy a banana from the store because I feel bad about these people working in these banana plantations for long hours and having to struggle with these. I mean, it's just wrong, in my opinion. You want to eat a banana? Go out and pick one. That's all. And I got some bananas out there I think are rotting because I've been working all week and they were ripening. I don't know if the ducks have gotten to them or what, but I'm going to go out there in a little bit and see. Maybe I'll make a video of that. I can't wait till I go outside. That's my highlight of the week. I think the first thing I'm going to do, though, is fix my air conditioner. Okay, let's see here. What else do we have? Don't have a voodoo doll of me sticking, twisting right now for you. Okay. Um, get a buffalo too. They taste great. I don't know if they would live in Florida. Bison, maybe. I don't know. If I went up north, if I was in a cold climate, maybe that's what I would do. Got done with my first session in the gym. Carnivore muscle. There you go. And you feel like it. Yeah, when you're tore up by the flu, that's a real workout. Would you mind if I emailed you? Okay, good. So yeah, contact each other because this is really important. It says, this Rick, this Jonathan, great live. Yes. See you all soon. Take care. Well, thank you, Mandy. I'm glad you were here. Live like the Green Acres. Da 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 da. Something like that. Thank you, Rick and all. Have a happy day. Okay, we're down to 39. So anyway, let me go ahead and wrap this up. It's going to be almost 3.5 hours. I think that when it comes to the lives, I am the longest talking. And when you see me with other people, I don't say much. So anyone that says that carnivores can't keep talking, well, that's me. And you'll notice I don't use a lot of word whiskers like oh, right, whatever, because my mind is working at the same speed that I'm able to talk. And I think that's important. So again, thank you all for being here. We have 50 likes. That's really good. I think we had about 56 people at one time. So that tells me that you are the best. All of you are very good for being here. You are the highest quality subscribers. And as Jonathan says, quality over quantity. You are a very good example of that. And let's see, we have some more comments here. Does your bananas have seeds? Actually, the Musa Acaminata that I have does have seeds, but the other ones do not because they're hybrids. But yes, I have one variety banana that has seeds. Okay. All right. Feel free to book a consultation. Yes, get in contact with Jonathan if you can. Cheers, Rick. Best live stream. Thank you. Yet. Well, that's because you were here, Jonathan. See, the participation is what makes the live stream good. Because otherwise, I'll be talking about ducks and iguanas. But when we have people like you that actively ask questions and respond, that's what makes the live stream beneficial. Thanks for a real time chat interaction, Rick. Yes. Seek out inspiration. Yes, see you soon. Thanks, Rick. And again, the reason I'm here, even when you have all these other carnivore channels that are very, very popular, because when you have thousands of people watching, they can no longer participate. So why would you line up to watch somebody like what's his name, Dr. Ken Berry? You're never going to be able to talk to him unless you pay money, and even that, and even Anthony Chafee, which does his best, he spends a lot of time on every question. He'll spend 15 minutes on a question, so you're not going to be able to get him. So hit the small carnivore channels like us. And if you're looking for experience, if you're looking for know-how, you hit Jonathan's channel. And if you're looking for experience from a quack, you hit my channel. And you're going to get your answers that you want. And you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to pay money for it. Although it would be nice if you would maybe join Jonathan's channel or some of these other smaller channels so you can give them, because he doesn't have a lot of options. Obviously, he's not out there working physically. He has to use this channel as part of the monetization. So it's very important that you recognize that it is a valuable service that he provides. And there's other channels like that too. So don't be shy. And I know it won't break you unless you're super poor like me. But yeah, most people can contribute. And again, even if you can't contribute, just invest in yourself. Take the time to learn what works for you. Take the time to not be swayed by the mainstream media, because the mainstream media does not have your best interest at heart. Their goal is to use you. They're basically using you like cattle. So be very wary and be very careful. And don't let your emotions rule, because a lot of times people, when you use your emotions, you're going to get yourself in trouble. You have to use logic along with the emotions. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. All right, let's see. Have a great day, everyone. Viking 442. You have a great day too. Have a great day, Paul McGrogan and Jackie Wakefield. Thanks, Rick. There we go. And what else do we have? It's 4:30 p.m. UK time, and you help my day. Well, thank you, Jonathan. And I'm glad I'll be seeing you again next week, I'm sure. I'm glad that I'm encouraging in some way. And Jonathan says most carnivores live streams don't even respond to their comments. It sucks. Yes. And it says charge about $1 per month membership. Yeah, you charge $1. Yeah, that's right. Jonathan is reasonable. For $12 a year, you could be a member on his channel. Come on, you can't beat that. I mean, I have to admit, I would join, except for the fact that I don't use online payment. It's kind of a weird thing about me, but I'll find another way in. Don't worry. Once I become more successful, and I will, there's no way that somebody like me could stay poor forever. It's only a matter of time. My biggest problem is I don't want to scam people. If I was a scammer, I can make a lot of money really fast. But I don't believe in that. And I believe that there is another higher power that's going to determine what's going to happen to us. So if we displease him, we're going to be in really bad shape. So it's better to suffer a little bit now. And I think sometimes suffering actually works because a little bit of hardship is a good thing. If everything is too easy, you become lazy and spoiled and you end up self destructing. Think about a person who never does anything. They sit around all day and they eat. What are they going to look like? Well, they're not going to look like Jonathan, that's for sure. Jonathan has to get up and do his workouts. Even though he spends a lot of time sitting around because of his condition, he's still working. So use that as an example for you. Don't be someone who is just depending on other people to do things for you. You do what you can. Let them do what you can't, but you do what you can. And let's see what else we got here. Pharaoh Grandma, take care. Take care. Glad you were here. And let's see. Richard Smith is also highly recommended. Yes, he goes by the name Keto Pro. Also, Stephen Thomas or whatever the coach. That's another one you might want to check out. You can look at Jonathan's channel and see that he's collaborated with them. Take a look at the people Jonathan has collaborated with, and you'll see those are the ones that he seems to respect. So, and if Jonathan recommends him, he is highly recommended. Sage advice is always, Rick. Thank you, Jonathan. It's been real. It's always real. Adios. That's good. And let's see. You could mail him a check. I'm going to do something like that. Don't worry. It's a plan of mine. Ideally, if I had the right circumstances, I would pay for an all expense trip from there to where I'm living, wherever I'm living to, and you could experience Rick's lifestyle in person. We'll go around Florida, have some fun, whatever we can do. But something will happen. It's only a matter of time. One thing I've learned is to be patient. The more you fight against something, sometimes the worse it gets. Sometimes you have to go with the flow, but just don't go in the wrong direction. If the flow is going towards the septic tank, don't go that way. That's all I can say. All right. He walks with me. Steph, thank you, Rick. Thank you for being here. And Rick's awesome. I'm very fortunate. Well, that's great, Jonathan. I appreciate that. I'm glad to be here. Let's see. Oh, Led Zepp movie tonight. Interesting. Good morning, Rick. Watching from Philippines. God bless. Well, thank you. That's pretty far away, so I'm glad that I have an international audience, and that's good. Well, it's 11:33, and I see the comments have slowed down. We're down to 37. So let me go ahead and let you go. I'm going to let myself go. I got a lot to do outside. The first thing I'm going to do is put my air conditioner back together. And I got this truck, belongs to a friend of mine I need to work on. I need to get that out of here. So there's a lot to do. But anyway, thank you for being here, and I appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you next Sunday, Saturday. What am I saying Sunday? Next Saturday. And usually a couple times a month, I'm on the Keto Cookout with Russ Mitchell. You'll see me there. And once in a while, you'll see me invited on other channels. So keep your eye out. And if you ever see anyone putting 41-year carnivore, Rick or Quack, anytime you talk about ducks and iguanas in the carnivore community, there is only one person. So have fun. Let's see. And I will catch you next time.